Collective salutations to the Almighty, revered elders, devotees from around the world, staff and students. A very good morning and welcome to the One World, One Family World Cultural Festival. As we continue to rejoice in the unity of humanity, today we are honored to celebrate Fiji and Pacific Islands, a breathtaking constellation of nations, including Papua New Guinea, Tuvalu, Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands, Kiribati, Samoa, and Tonga. Fiji and the Pacific Islands are places where the ocean sings ancient lullabies, where emerald mountains embrace the sky, and where traditions flow with the rhythm of the waves. Their cultures are woven with respect and deep spiritual connection, values that truly resonate with the spirit of one world, one family. Today, as we honor Fiji and these Pacific Island nations, we celebrate not just their landscapes and traditions, but the warmth of their people and their message to humanity that unity, simplicity, and togetherness are the true treasures of life. As part of the Universal Wisdom for a United World lecture series, we are honored to welcome a spiritual leader whose life is a shining testimony to faith, service, and steadfast devotion. Elder Taniela Bio Wakolo, a revered general authority of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints since 2017, carries with him the pride and spirit of his homeland as the first Fijian ever to hold this sacred position. Born in the serene island of Loma Loma, Fiji, Elder Wakolo's journey reflects the remarkable harmony of humility, dedication, and divine purpose. He pursued management and public administration at the University of the South Pacific and further strengthened his academic foundation with a master's degree in management. His early professional life as a police officer in Fiji prepared him with discipline and integrity. Elder Wakolo has served the LDS Church with unwavering commitment, from managing operations in Fiji to guiding communities through business affairs and welfare programs. Since embracing the Church in 1994, he has offered his leadership in many roles, including seminary and institute teacher, branch president, bishop's counselor, state president's counselor, among others. Brothers and sisters, please join me in welcoming Elder Taniela Bio Wakolo.
Distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, Bula, Namaste, and Salam Alaikum. Happy Fiji Day. Fiji is known for its Bula smile. Perhaps we can say with that acronym using SMILE, spiritually minded is life eternal. My dear friends, it is a joy for Anita and me to be here with you in Muddenahalli. As we walked through the hospital facilities yesterday, being educated of Sai Baba's vision and execution, Sadhguru's vision and execution of such visions, and joined the sessions, three impressions rested firmly upon my heart. First, a beloved Maori, natives of New Zealand, Aotearoa proverb, quote, "He aha te mea nui o te ao, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata." What is the most important thing in the world? It is the people, it is the people, it is the people. Second, three companion words: charity, compassion, and love. In German, the word for love is spelled L-I-E-B-E, or pronounced Liebe. If we use Liebe as an acronym, L stands for love, I stands for inspire, E, encourage, B, bless, and E as example. Third, I felt impressed by how consistently this gathering acknowledges God. Combining the three impressions from a verse in the New Testament, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." Those were the three powerful thoughts that I was impressed with in the past day. My title this morning is Building Bridges of Compassionate Collaboration. Compassionate collaboration in our faith. About 6 months ago, I had the privilege of participating in a gathering in Fiji where Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai was the honored guest. I also enjoyed a personal conversation with him on his invitation. You can feel the goodness of his heart and the depth of his commitment to humanity. I am grateful to be with you today during the centenary celebration of Sri Sathya Sai Baba and also the week of inauguration of this remarkable 600-bed medical facility, a facility that truly amplifies the principle of one world, one family, and that no one is left behind. I also express gratitude that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints partners with the Sai Prema Foundation in Suva, Fiji, especially through the Children's Heart Hospital. When we first walked through that hospital, I looked for the billing station and asked the Tapu family representatives and Dr. Krupali what the price was for an operation. I was told the cost was immense, yet families paid nothing, not even transportation. We as a church with our humanitarian arm knew immediately that we wanted to collaborate. With that partnership, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have provided portable echo machines, 25 syringe pumps, sterilizing equipment, a family travel fund, and most recently, a GE Vivid 95 ultrasound system for the surgical theater. I have visited. Okay, thank you. I have visited 2 families whose children were operated on. You always being responded to with tears of joy. I asked an 8-year-old whose sibling was operated on, in fact, 9-year-old. I said, "How do you see now your brother is getting well?" And then he said, "My brother never used to play with me, but now after his operation, he can." That's bringing life. That's bringing smiles of children and relieved parents, which are priceless and a great reminders of what happens when we build bridges instead of barriers. I love reading an account in the New Testament, in fact in John chapter 9 and in chapter 8, how the Savior identified a blind man. There were some great eternal truths in those first 5 verses. He was asked because of his blindness, who sinned, him or his parents? He said, neither. But there is a God's purpose to be fulfilled. He then said, as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. As long as I am in the family, I am the light of the family. As long as I am in your nation, I am the light of that nation. What were the circumstances of Jesus identifying the blind man? In John chapter 8, verse 59, then took they up, meaning the Jews, stones to cast at him. But Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. As he was passing by, that was when he identified the blind man. Even though he was running for his safety, once he came across the blind man, his safety was secondary. Attending to the need was primary. Question: who is your blind man today? Who might be your and my blind man tomorrow or next week? Perhaps they are not literally blind, but have eyes that couldn't see. Maybe we need to slow down and see. Maybe we have been looking inward too much, that we need to start looking outward. By the way, we come from very different circumstances in families in our lives. The joy we feel has little to do with the circumstances of our lives and everything to do with the focus of our lives. As we focus on God's purpose and our purpose, we will have bounteous joy. A story about building bridges. Let me share a simple story, a fable of two brothers. For 50 years, these two brothers worked side by side on adjacent farms. One day, a small disagreement grew into anger. Words were exchanged, and then came weeks of silence. The younger brother dug a creek between their properties. A carpenter arrived at the older brother's home seeking work. The older brother pointed across the creek toward his younger brother's farm and said, "I want a tall wall, 10 feet high, so I will never have to see his face again." When the farmer returned that evening, he was stunned. There was no wall. There was a bridge, intricately carved and beautiful. At that moment, the younger brother approached across the bridge and embraced his older brother. "After all I have said and done," he said, "you still build a bridge." As the brothers wept, they turned to invite the carpenter to stay. He replied, "I would love to, but I have many more bridges to build." My friends, in a world where some leaders build walls and polarization grows, may you and I, may we choose instead to build bridges so that we can be bridge builders. With the same emotional material that could bind us in hate, we can bind ourselves in love. A brief history of Fiji-India collaboration. Between 1879 and 1916, 87 voyages carried nearly 61,000 indentured laborers from India to Fiji. They traveled between 30 days to 73 days. That chapter, over 146 years ago, has led to generations who now proudly call Fiji home. Of course, there were hardships along the way, but they endured. Fiji is sometimes referenced as mini India. Their courage, determination, and shared belief in a better future helped build bridges, not fences. Today, we see the fruits. A unique language, Fiji Hindi, now an official language of our nation. Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity coexisting peacefully. Yes, you will see Hindu temples, Muslim mosques, and Christian churches throughout Fiji, sometimes standing side by side to and with each other, talking about religious tolerance. Festivals such as Diwali, Holi, and Eid celebrated alongside Fiji Day, Easter, and Christmas. Indo-Fijians contributing profoundly to education, business, civil service, and the arts. Sports with athletics, soccer, and rugby, played by multi-ethnicities. Shared values of respect, family, and community service, strengthening national unity. In fact, I can boldly say, because of their contribution, Fiji undoubtedly has a good education index and an increase in IQ. Interfaith collaboration in Fiji. Fiji is blessed with a vibrant interfaith landscape. Multiple religions joined together this year to commemorate the Prophet Muhammad's birthday, learning, sharing, and strengthening mutual respect. There are monthly interfaith discussions that identify common ground and support freedom of religion. Youth gatherings, religious freedom conferences, and shared humanitarian efforts continue to unite us. After natural disasters, communities prayed together across faith traditions. Iftar gatherings, Diwali celebrations, and interfaith meals have become symbols of unity and shared hope. Every one of these moments builds another bridge. The bridge of education. One of the most powerful bridge builders is education. As a church, we feel that education is a religious responsibility. Our vision and purpose regarding those who feel marginalized or wherever they live, perhaps living in rural areas and feel disconnected with limited resources, are given the same opportunity as the others. That is, we prepare them with English Connect and succeed in schools for those who left school earlier in their lives or didn't have the opportunity to do high schools. They are provided with laptops and good internet connectivity at the church buildings closer to them. Register with Brigham Young University online and work online jobs. We wanted people to stay in their own country, be self-reliant, and have their own families and strengthen the establishment of the church and community in a higher, holier way. Of course, the choice will always be theirs. I smiled yesterday when I heard about EconoCare, people showers, and local shores. I was inspired by that. Through BYU Pathway Worldwide, more than 74,000 students from 180 countries now access affordable, flexible higher education. Many lives in Fiji and India have been transformed through this inspired program. The trade vocational education. This gives an opportunity for parents and their adult children to enhance their skills and learning. I used to hear parents waiting for their children after school, but now, as parents attend school in the evening, it is children waiting for their parents. Humanitarian efforts. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints seeks to follow the Savior's teaching to go about doing good. Some initiatives focusing on education and medicals and others include, in Fiji, rebuilding and furnished student dormitories at Ratu Kandabalebu School, a boarding school. Constructing teachers' quarters in remote islands and villages. Providing multiple clean water systems for remote villages. Assembling and delivering 11,000 solar lights to families in remote locations. Contributing towards renovating and remodeling of CWM hospitals and other medical centers. In India, hosting a 4-day life skills workshop for 750 hearing-impaired youth and their families. Installing reverse osmosis water systems in 27 villages. Providing specialized wheelchairs and mobility aids. Responding to floods and disasters by providing tops, blankets, hygiene goods, food, etc. These are small, but sincere efforts to follow Christ's example of lifting the one. The prophet Joseph Smith taught that a true Latter-day Saint is to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to provide for the widow, to dry up the tear of the orphan, to comfort the afflicted, whether in this church or in any other, or in no church at all, wherever he finds them. Close quote. The bridge between heaven and earth. The church also builds temples, which we view as holy places, bridges connecting heaven and earth. Inside these sacred spaces, families and individuals learn of God, and His plan for us. We also learn our purpose on earth. People make promises, or we call it covenants, to live higher laws of kindness, civility, morality, and goodness. Families are bound together for eternity. We are so grateful for the religious freedom that exists here, and civic leaders in India who allowed us to build a temple at Mahadevapura, Bengaluru, Karnataka. Thank you. In fact, we invite you to walk through the temple when it is open for everyone before it is dedicated to the Lord. When individuals are transformed one by one, communities are transformed. When hearts are transformed, families are strengthened. When families are strengthened, nations are lifted. Why bridge building matters? When we build bridges, 5 things in mind happens. First, conflict and polarization decrease. Second, understanding expands across cultural, political, and religious lines. Third, creativity flourishes through diverse perspectives. Fourth, communities grow stronger through mutual trust. And fifth, peace becomes possible, not just hoped for. The scriptures teach us this truth. In the New Testament, in Philippians chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, be of one mind in love, esteeming others better than ourselves. Do you see unity in diversity in that verse? And in the Book of Mormon and in the Testament of Jesus Christ in Mosiah chapter 18, verses 8 and 9, to mourn with those who mourn and comfort those in need of comfort. These verses invite every one of us to become bridge builders. The values that guide us as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The Church's 13th article of faith teaches us to seek anything that is virtuous, lovely, of good report, or praiseworthy. The Family Proclamation reminds us that successful families and successful nations are built on faith, prayer, forgiveness, respect, love, compassion, work, and wholesome activities. These are not just religious ideals. They are universal principles that bind humanity together. And many of these principles are lived by families who live right here on our beloved homeland of India. In conclusion, my dear friends, the world is in great need of bridge builders, whether in our homes, our workplaces, our governments, or our faith communities. May we choose to lift, inspire, encourage, bless, and set an example. Let us honor the carpenter in the fable and the master carpenter of all our souls by building bridges of compassionate collaboration wherever we go. May God bless you for the good you do, and may God bless all our efforts to leave no one behind. Vinakavalebu Danyabad, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Extend our heartfelt gratitude to Elder Wakolo for sharing his wisdom and enlightening all of us this morning. Now, may we invite Professor Sri Kantamurthy, Vice Chancellor, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, to extend our token of gratitude and appreciation to Elder Tanila Bio Wakolo. Now, we shall have a short break and reconvene for Satya Darpan.
विघ्नविनाशक देवादिदेवा विघ्नविनाशक देवादिदेवा विघ्नविनाशक देवादिदेवा विघ्नविनाशक देवादिदेवा Sanathana Deva
Sai Om, Sai Om, Sai Om. Sai Om, Sai Om, Sai तन मन प्राण में साईं मन प्राण में तन मन प्राण में साईं मन प्राण में साईं ओम साईं ओम साईं शयन सपन में साईं सपन में साईं गगन पवन में साईं शयन सपन में साईं सपन में साईं नयन नयन में साईं नयन नयन में साईं जन्म मरण में साईं जन्म मरण में साईं साईं ओम साईं ओम साईं तन मन प्राण में साईं मन प्राण में साईं ओम साईं ओम साईं शयन सपन में साईं गगन पवन में साईं शयन सपन में साईं नयन नयन में साईं नयन नयन में साईं नयन नयन में
शङ्कर शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शङ्कर शङ्कर शम्भो शङ्कर शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शङ्कर शङ्कर शम्भो शङ्कर शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शङ्कर शङ्कर शम्भो चन्द्रकलाधर शङ्करा गङ्गजटाधर शङ्करा चन्द्रकलाधर शङ्करा गङ्गजटाधर शङ्करा शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शङ्कर शङ्कर शम्भो कैलासवासा शङ्करा त्रिशूलधारी शङ्करा शिवाय भवाय शिवाय शिवा भवा हर शिवा भवा हर शंकर शंकर सांब सदा शिव शंकर शंकर शंभो
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective pranams at the lotus feet of our Master, Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, revered elders, devotees from across the globe, staff and students, a very good morning and welcome to Satya Darpan. Yesterday in his discourse, Sadguru explained how the realized ones move through life with quite ease, untouched by the world and steady in the self. The 33rd shloka of chapter 18 says, Ekagrata nirodhova mudairabhyasyate bhrisham dhiraha krityam na pashyanti suptavad svapade stitaha. Sage Ashtavakra tells King Janaka, the ignorant strive intensely for concentration or suppression of the mind. The wise see no duty at all. Established in their own self, they rest like one who is asleep. Giving the example of a fish which requires no special efforts to bathe, Sadguru stated that a jnani too needs no additional means for purification. Instead, it is the very action performed by the jnani that becomes sanctified. At times, when the scriptures seem difficult to comprehend, Sadguru reminded us that we should draw inspiration from the lives of those who have experienced the truth proclaimed in the scriptures. We now pray to Sadguru to continue his teachings on the 18th chapter of the Ashtavakra Gita.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
There are two ways to bring about a change or transformation. One is to renovate it from what it is. The second is to raise it down and build it all over again. Usually renovation seems like an easy path, but actually it's more complicated at times. But sometimes the only path and the right path is to raise it all down to the ground and then build it up all again. So when you walk on the spiritual path, as Bhagavan used to say, I have to break you to make you. He has to break down all falsities, all the imaginations and mental constructs of what is spirituality, what is religion, how one is to attain this knowledge, how one is to attain wisdom. We have our own social and mental constructs. Do this and then you will get God. You do that and you will get wisdom. And based on the scriptures, the methods prescribed by the gurus and masters and instructors, we tend to follow all that, and ultimately we become very overwhelmed or sometimes even attached to the method more than the goal. So that becomes a confusion in the minds of the ignorant. While these means and methods are important to start the journey, there has to be some method to madness, as they say. So these serve as guardrails on this path, but at the end you have to let go of every method and means to be the self. And that is what Ashtavakra keeps on telling. So when you walk on the spiritual path, and if you have never done it before, you will realize that all those past impressions and tendencies, those suppressed emotions and memories, those instincts and desires which have been kept hidden, or as I always say, like brushed or swept under the carpet for a long time, they will all start emerging now because you have started cleaning the attic. All this while you never visited the attic where you had stored all your memories and emotions and hidden secrets and past impressions. And you seem to be living in a clean house downstairs. But then one fine day the Guru comes and tells, no, we must clean up the house completely. It's not enough if your downstairs is good. Go upstairs, clean up the attic, throw away all that which is not necessary. And once you start that process, like cleaning the house, the dust rises, and lot of those things which you had conveniently hidden and forgotten, they all start resurfacing. And that process is very painful and discomforting. That is why most of the people give up learning or walking the spiritual path right in the beginning. Because you have to face your demons. You have to face your fears. There is no hiding them away in a closet, sweeping them under the carpet, and running away from the reality. Spirituality demands that every bit of your core is cleaned up. And that is not easy because those convenient ways of hiding things and thinking they do not exist, that does not apply anymore. The Guru insists that you must once for all get rid of all those things which are unnecessary. Even if they were painful, you have to go back, face them. When Swami Vivekananda was a young monk, he was on a tour of India. So I believe he was king. Suddenly a group of monkeys started chasing him. And he was afraid, so he started running. And as he ran more, the monkeys chased him more. Looking at the other monks who were looking at this scene, they were all laughing. Because this was a common sight. The monkeys knew who is afraid of them. And these old monks who were seasoned and experienced how to deal with these monkeys, they never bothered about the monkeys, even if the monkeys were sitting on the guards and trying to trouble them. They knew this is the way monkeys are. But Vivekananda was a novice, new to that place. And monkeys knew that they can have some fun at his expense. So they chased Vivekananda, and that looking at his plight, one of the monks who was sitting there, he told, oh boy, don't keep running. The more you run, the more they'll chase you. Just turn around and face them, and they will run away. So Swami Vivekananda gathered some courage, mustered some courage, and turned around to face the monkeys who were chasing after him. And the moment he turned around, the monkeys stopped, and they ran away. So in our life, spirituality is about facing our fears. It is not about running away from them and taking refuge in some ashram or some guru's feet, or changing your address, phone number, so that nobody can trace you back. These are all escapist ways of living a life. These are not real ways. If you do this, you will never grow. You will imagine that you are growing and you are evolving, but you don't. Because someday these things will resurface, because at the end of it all, the balance has to be zero. The accounts have to be settled. You can't carry forward anything from this to the next. And that means a lot of courage. Courage not just to face the world outside you, the harsh realities of the living, but also the courage to face the world inside you, your own vulnerabilities, your shortcomings, your frailties, your mistakes, your fears, as they say, your demons. You have to deal with them. There is no escape. And that is why spirituality is not for everyone. Because everybody wants to conveniently forget all the wrong, all the bad, all the negative, and live in a euphoric thought that here onwards everything is positive and nice. But that doesn't really work. If you want to be truly a man of wisdom, you have to deal with everything. It's like cleaning up the entire house and letting go of all that which is unnecessary. And yes, they will bring some painful memories of the past, but they also have to be gotten rid of once for all. So it's a huge cleansing process. And that is why it is uncomfortable. When we were kids, at least every Diwali we were told to clean the house. In India, mostly people do a deep cleaning of the entire house during Diwali because they believe that Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, is coming. And if she sees the house is not clean, she may just walk back, turn away, and we will become poor. So at least some motivation. The elders are very clever. They give us some incentives like this. Clean up the house well because Mother Goddess Lakshmi is going to come. She is the goddess of wealth. And if she likes the house, she will come inside and give you a lot of gifts and wealth. So everybody is like scrubbing, cleaning, and the whole of Diwali goes in cleaning all that. But when you clean, so many things come out. Oh, this was missing. I was searching for this pen for so long. That's where it was there. Or the mother says, this ring I had lost, I thought, but this was there in the garden pot. I realized only today. The father says, oh, my old spectacles were lying under the couch. I never knew that. So also we discover a lot of good and bad things when we start cleaning. Likewise is the spiritual path. And see, because Guru's job is to scrub it all clean. No scope for hiding, hoarding, and living in that denial. It's not allowed anymore. And that is why people run away from spirituality. As long as it is the arthi method of spirituality, you go beg God for grace and wealth and position and promotion and children and family and all these, and God gives you, you feel you are very spiritual, but you are not. Your problems are solved, your health is restored, all good things happen. That is not spirituality. Real spirituality begins once you start facing your own inner fears and learn to overcome them. That is when spirituality begins. So why all these initial things of you go to God, God blesses you with things? This is the way God attracts you to Himself. After that, He starts teaching you the real lessons. And then people don't like it anymore. Because now you have to deal with hard things. But in the process, this is a part of the process. Initially, He'll give you all that you want to attract you to the spiritual path. But that's not how it's going to be forever. Honeymoon will get over sooner or later. And the real life begins after that. So spirituality is the real life after the honeymoon. So don't be too wrongly disposed to the idea of spirituality as a very easy, comfortable, happy path, and somehow God will forgive all my past and mistakes. I don't have to deal with them again. It's all washed away and gone, disappeared. You can wish it so, like ostrich, which buries its head in the sands and thinks there is nobody watching it. That's not how spirituality works. It will test your resolve. It will test your faith. It will test your endurance. It will test your resilience. And only when you are found deserving will you be granted the greatest gift of your own realization, that ultimate freedom that every soul craves for. That is what is coming in the coming shlokas. So on page number 209, on 1834 shloka, it says, Aprayatnat prayatnadva mudho napnoti nivritim tattva nishchaya matrena pragnyo bhavati nivrittaha. Aprayatnat prayatnadva. Either by putting efforts or not putting the efforts, the fool, mudha, na apnoti nivrittam. The fool never attains that freedom, attains that dispassion, attains that detachment. He keeps putting effort of running away from things or running towards things, rejecting things, accepting things, doing that, not doing that, as per the rule book. But despite all these efforts, he does not realize the self, does not become dispassionate. Whereas, tattva nishchaya matrena pragnyo bhavati nivrutaha. Whereas the prajnaha, the wise one, he becomes free, nivrutaha. How? Tattva nishchaya matrena, by simply believing that he is the self. He is divine. By just believing in it, he attains it. He has to put no efforts. And Panchadashi of Vidyaranya Swami, which is a very basic Advaitic text to start with, it says, how long does it take for a wife to become a woman? Not at all, no time. Wife is already a woman. Right now she is behaving like a wife because husband is around. Or how long does it take for a mother to become a woman? No time, because she already is a woman. Now, right now she is behaving like a mother because of the children. How much time does it take for you to become yourself is the question that the wise man asks. He says, no effort at all. The effort is to let go of imaginations and superimpositions. You already are that. Tattvam asi Shvetaketu is the Chandogya Upanishad where the teacher tells you already are that. How much time does it take for a bangle to become gold? No time, it's already gold. Right now it is in the shape of a bangle. Likewise, how long does it require to realize the self, or what efforts do we need to put to realize the self? Ashtavakra says no efforts. It's an effortless thing because it's as simple as you being yourself. You being a teacher is an effort. You being a father is an effort. You being whatever, the husband is an effort, son is an effort because you have to behave. But you being yourself is no effort at all. So our idea of self is that pure consciousness which you always are, which has now been modified or superimposed with various ideas of you are a good man, bad man, handsome or ugly, you are kind or crude, you are rich or poor. All these ideas have been superimposed on that idea. So how much time does it take for you to become yourself? No time. So what is the way of these wise ones? They simply don't get into these rule books and doing this and not doing that. They simply withdraw their consciousness into their idea that I am that very self which I am searching for. The moment they convincingly believe it, not theoretically. Theoretically all of us believe. Who does not believe? Everybody believes we are divine because we have been told an umpteen number of times that you are divine, you are divine, you are divine, and we have theoretically believed it. But does it translate into real living, real behavior? No. Then we get angry, then we get upset, then we get frustrated, then we get judgmental, then we analyze this, ridicule that. So we deviate from our original true self of that pure divine consciousness. And that is why Ashtavakra says it's not about how many books you read or where do you go for pilgrimages and how many rituals you perform. It's about simply believing that you are divine. Mr. Tigert often used to say, despite all my shortcomings, I know I am divine because my master says I am divine. Simple as that. Why argue after that? My master is always right. Like wives are always right. You better listen to them. There are two rules. Wives are always right. And the second rule is when you don't believe that wives are right, go back to the first rule. So teacher is always right. If you don't believe the teacher is right, go back to the first rule, the teacher is always right. So the idea is that you simply believe. The moment you believe, you start behaving accordingly. It will happen naturally to you. Like the lion cub which was lost in the flock of sheep, believed that it's a sheep and behaved like a sheep. It even ate grass, though its gut is not made to digest grass. But it behaved like that and lived I don't know how long till he met a real lion who reminded, or rather who told him about his true self. And initially the little cub shook his head in disbelief saying, no, you are wrong. But then the big lion took him to a pond and showed the reflection in the pond. And he realized, yes, I do look like you, the big lion. I don't look like those sheep. He said, yes, you are a lion. That is the reason why you look like me. And with some effort, he was able to overcome his sheepish feelings and become a lion, true lion, realize the lion. So was he not a lion? How much time should it take for the cub to become a lion? No time. He was already a lion. But always thought it's a sheep, because of which it lived in fear, behaved wrongly. Likewise, we are behaving wrongly because we believe we are not divine. The moment we believe we are divine, our behavior will immediately change. Like your behavior changes according to the circumstance. When you are with your husband, you are a wife. When you are with children, you are a mother. Or when you are at your office, you are the professional. When you are with your parents, you are a daughter. All these behaviors are different. But when you are alone, you are that. You are self. Baba used to say, when I am with children, I am a child. When I am with women, I am a woman. When I am with men, I am a man. Alone, I am God. That was his definition. So this is the idea. Yes, while you go to the office, you are a doctor, or a hospital, you are a doctor. Go to the school, you are a teacher. You come here, you are a devotee. You go home, you are a husband, wife, or whatever. But left to yourself, without all these superimpositions, you are divine. So what happens? These fools try to get rid of, I don't want to be a wife, I want to be a woman. How do I become that? They go to teachers and ask, how do I become a woman? Why, you are already a woman? No, I am a wife. But wife cannot be without a woman. Woman only can be wife. So you already are that. No, I don't feel so. I am a wife, but I am not a woman. That doesn't work. So it's like arguing like this about who you are. And your identity crisis comes from this false understanding. The moment we realize we are the self, we forget all these things. So he says, there is no effort. These fools are the one who will go and say, oh, if I chant for 10,000 times more or extend my sadhana by 2 hours more, will I be having better prospects of realizing the truth? May or may not be. It's not about number of hours that you spend. It's about the conviction in that truth with which you live. It is not about that. Then why all these rituals have been made? Why all these pilgrimages and so many texts and so many instructions? To get you onto this path first. To let you know what it is all about. Step by step by step. Shanaihi, Shanaihi, he says. Slowly, slowly you should do it. Can't, somebody wants to run a marathon. On the first day, if he gets up and starts running, he will collapse in some time. He doesn't have the stamina or strength to do that. So step by step by step. Do these many exercises, develop some muscles, stamina. Slowly you run half marathon and then you slowly make it to big one. So the idea is that you put efforts because that is how you reach a stage where you don't have to put any efforts. But put the efforts with the conviction. Without conviction you should not put efforts. See, all religion has been made into 0 and 1. This is heaven, that is hell. This is positive, that is negative. This is how you will be loved, that is how you will be hated. This is how you will be rewarded, that is how you will be punished. Ashtavakra destroys all these things. Decimates it by saying, all these later. First you believe that you are divine, then we will deal with the rest of it. Don't start with dealing with these things, otherwise you will get always stuck. Because mind will behave differently every day. Since you believe that you are sheep and not lion, so how can your behavior change? You will continue to make mistakes like sheep. You will continue to live in fear like sheep. Because you don't believe that you are lion in the first place, even though you are born lion. So Ashtavakra says, believe that you are that. And then your behavior will change. Once behavior changes, this papa, punya, all this will disappear. Because your behavior itself has changed due to the conviction. So our problem is that we are trying to approach the problem other way around. Start behaving and then we want to believe. No, Ashtavakra says start believing and you will automatically behave. Then these rights and wrongs will disappear from your life. Whatever you do, it will be divinely inspired. Because it is divinely inspired, there is no wrong, there is no right in it. Even the society may consider it another way. But you have no other way. So he says, all that you do, even Ashdi Shankaracharya says, Vadantu Shastrani yajantu devan, kurvantu karmani bhajantu devataha, atmaikya bodhena vinapi mukti, na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. It says, go to as many temples, read as many books, worship as many gods, perform as many rituals as you want. Till you believe and realize this self, the truth that you are divine, you will not attain freedom from this headache of doing right and not doing wrong and this worry and fear of living every day carefully. All these will not disappear even in 100 years of Brahma. 1 year of Brahma itself, they say that there are 4 yugas, Mahayugas happen. And 1 night of Brahma, another 4. So it says even 100 years of Brahma, you are not going to attain anything. You are simply running in circles. You will not reach anywhere. Why? Because you are doing it all wrong. You don't believe that you are divine and you don't know where you are going, then what efforts can you put? If you know your destination, you will accordingly take the road or bus or car or whichever way. You don't even know what is your destination, going in circles. So the idea is that getting rid of papa, punya, right and wrong, sin and merit is very difficult unless you totally believe that you are divine and behave accordingly. So once you believe, your behavior will naturally change. Is it that easy to suddenly believe? No, because from so many years we have been practicing that we are not divine. All of a sudden telling you that you are divine and all that you thought and believed and behaved, all that was wrong, it was all false. You are in for a rude shock actually. Really, all this is false. All that I did and achieved and amassed and enjoyed, none of this matters at the end. No, none of this matters. That is how it's going to be for a real rude shock to the ignorant. But this is a sweet shock because it tells you are better than that, not worse than that. So that is a hope. There is positivity in this scripture. It says you are better than that. You don't need all these things to be yourself. You are complete unto yourself. You don't need anybody to make you complete. You don't need anything to be happy. You are happy, your nature. Nature is happiness. So this belief has to come, and one who believes alone can live this life. Otherwise, you will be running, practice this, don't practice this. We'll try this, or this doesn't work, let us go to Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga does not work, let us go to Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga doesn't work, let us go to Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga does not work, we'll go to Bhakti Yoga. They'll keep going place to place. But they will not realize anything at the end of it, unless you believe in it. And what do you believe in? The next shloka in 35 on page number 212 says, this is your nature. Shuddham buddham priyam purnam nishprapancham niramayam atmanam tam na jananti tatrabhyasa parajanaha. Why do people go on practicing something or the other? Tatra abhyasa parajanaha. Why people go on practicing this and that? Because they don't know what their true self is. Like the lion cub who does not know that it is a lion cub. It thinks it's a sheep. So it is behaving. Because of that, it is going through all the emotions of life. But he says, because they don't know who they are, real self, that is why they are behaving like this. Whereas your real nature is Shuddham, pure. But I have committed so many sins, I have done so many wrongs, I hurt so many people. Yes, despite all that thing, you are pure. That is what the scriptures say. You are pure. All those are modifications. But in truth, you are pure, Shuddham. Buddham, you are aware. Your consciousness, you are never ignorant. All the awareness is yours because you are the very embodiment of that consciousness, Buddham. Priyam, you are very lovable, you are very adorable, very admirable. No, nobody likes me, nobody makes friends with me because I am such a terrible person. Nobody wants to be with me. No, despite that, you are actually, your true nature is that you are very adorable. You are admirable. You are lovable. You are priyam. Purnam, you are complete. You don't need anybody else to complete you. All of us feel, no, I need someone to complete me. A husband or a wife or a friend or a whatever, well-wisher, brothers. No, nothing. You are self-complete. In the sense, you are complete from the point of view that you lack nothing. You don't need anything or anyone to make you what you are. You are already that. This idea that somebody or someone or something is required to make me happier or better than what I am is a false idea. You are self-sufficient. You don't need anything to complete you, to make you whole. You already are that, it says, Purnam. Nishprapancham, you are unaffected by the vicissitudes of the world. Goods happen, bad happen, nice days come, bad days come, good people join you, bad people trouble you. None of this really actually bothers you. That is your true nature. You just watch it pass by, that's it. You don't get involved. So this prapancha or this whole world does not exist for you. From the point of view that it does not affect you. It does not exist because it does not affect you. Then niramayam. Your amaya means some deficit, some sickness or disease. Generally with amaya means some kind of a difficulty. Niramaya means there is no difficulty at all, no deficit at all. You are not sick. You are always healthy, you are complete, you are full of energy. You are bright, you are effulgent. All this is real you. It's like the big lion telling the small cub, you know what? You are Shuddham, you are Buddham, you are Priyam, you are Purnam, Nishprapancham, Niramayam. And cub says, nah, I don't believe this. Because I am scared all the time. I need a wife to complete me and my family and my children and friends and relations. I need a whole lot of bunch of people to make me feel complete and whole. Then what else I need? Sometimes I'm happy, I'm sometimes sad, this world troubles me, sometimes I enjoy it. This is how I live in this world, swinging between the happy and the sad times. And what else I do? I have committed so many mistakes, I am full of frailties and faults and vulnerabilities and weaknesses. And what else I do? I believe that I am not strong enough, I am always weak, my mind is not sufficient enough to deal with this world and things like that. So I feel low at times, I'm depressed, I'm anxious. All this I am, is saying. Whereas the big lion is saying, no, just shut up. Stop this ranting. None of this is you. I don't know how did you end up believing all this is you. Because you're roaming around with those fools, those sheep, who don't believe that. Naturally, they can't believe because they are sheep. But allegoric means I'm mentioning that because you're roaming around with ignorant people, so you are also ignorant. Tell me your company and I shall tell you what you are, Bhagavan used to say. Birds of the same feather flock together. So ignorant people seek the company of ignorant only. Therefore, you will never grow. If you make friends with the people who are only as good as you, how will you ever grow and become better? You must make friends with somebody better than you. That is how you will grow. So you should seek the company of the wise. Like the lion cub never sought the company of the big lion. He was always roaming around with the sheep, believing that it was a sheep. So it never improved from where he came. Whereas once he joined the company of the big lion, he understood, yes, I am that pure consciousness which is so beautiful, lovable, complete in itself, not affected by the world and never having any deficits. That is what I am, the big lion is telling. Now it believes, once it believes, it starts behaving correctly because it's already there. Like a magnet becomes the reason for a piece of iron to get magnetized. Was that iron piece not capable of magnetism? It was. But it was hidden, it was latent, it was not expressing itself. We needed another magnet to magnetize it and show that it is a magnet. So why people feel good when they come to ashram and are in the company of good people and my company? They feel very energized, very happy, very light and blissful. Because that is their true nature. In my company, that true nature is coming out and the false nature is getting suppressed. But the moment you cross the ashram gates, what happens? Just the reverse. All the falsity comes and sits on you again because creatures of habits we are. We have been behaving that way for ages. So one day's association with a wise one would not change you. If a piece of iron stays with a magnet for enough time under a certain temperature or whatever conditions, then it becomes a magnet, permanently magnetized. Otherwise, temporary magnetism everybody can show. When they come to ashram, all are behaving well. Step out of the ashram, back to your old ways. So permanent magnetism requires permanent association with the wise. Satsangatve nisangatvam nisangatve nirmohatvam. Satsanga, good company, is the first step on the spiritual path. Stay in the company of those who believe in these truths completely, convincingly, and accordingly they behave. Stay in the company of wrong people, they will drag you down. So be in the company of the right people, that is the very first thing. But this is very difficult for people to believe because, as I said, we are creatures of habit. We have been behaving this way for such a long time that somebody comes and tells you are none of these, you don't want to let go. I was watching some service activity by some organization because people keep writing to me for support. They sent a video I was watching. What they do is they pick up these abandoned, forsaken, mentally ill people who are abandoned on the streets by their families and they don't know what they're doing. They're naked or they have collected a lot of rags and all kinds of things from the road and they hold on to it as if it's great value and their possession and they live in all these ruins and such places. So this organization picks them up, gives them a nice bath, cuts their hair, cleans them, gives them clothes, food, shelter. So that is their job. What was very interesting to watch was that when they tried to pick these people up who are abandoned and suffering and lying in some corner of the street, first reaction of these people is they don't trust these organization people because they have only experienced trauma, fear, violence, abuse. So if anybody else approaches them with good intentions also, first reaction is, no, I don't want to go, leave me alone. They cry, they throw their hands and legs, they resist. And they don't let go of those rags that they're holding on to because they feel this is all I am, this is my identity. I am this abandoned, forsaken, forlorn, abused, violated for a person on the street. This is my identity and these rags make my identity complete. Now a good organization comes and says, no, none of this is your identity. This was a deviation. This was a mistake. Come, we will show you who truly you are. We will take you, clean you up, give you shelter, food, clothes, medicine, love, care, affection. No, I don't believe you. I don't want to come with you. So they all keep resisting. But somehow these people have to convince them quietly, slowly, and then pick them up and bring them to the shelter home and then treat them well. After many efforts of so much of love, concern and care, finally they start healing. They overcome their fears and anxieties and the suspicion and doubts and slowly they start behaving just the way they were supposed to be. It takes a lot of effort for these organizations to deal with them. Likewise, we hold on to the rags of the world. In the Guru's eyes, in the eyes of the wise person, your riches are rags only because they are of no use to you in your spiritual pursuit. Yes, they fill your belly, they give you a shelter, they give some respect. But that does not complete you, that does not make you who you are. But we hold on to these identities, we think this is our identity. My position, my name, my wealth, my people. This is my true identity. So even if a guru comes and says, no, none of this is you, because you have put so much effort to collect those rags for years from the road, you don't want to let go of it, even though it has no value. But it has sentimental value. It has identity value. Because you're wrongly identifying yourself with that. So when a teacher, a spiritual master looks at the world, and looks at this mad rush and pursuit to gain more wealth and name and position and power and enjoyment and pleasures, continuously, he looks at them like these mentally deranged beggars who are collecting all that which is thrown away on the roads and holding out so dear to their lives, close to their chest, because they feel that completes them, that gives them an identity, that is who they are. But it is not true. That is how the wise one is teaching, the Ashtavakra is teaching. You are none of these nonsense that you always talk about. Am I the king? Am I the father of so and so? Yes, Janaka, you are all of that, but none of this is real you. Your real nature is pure consciousness, full of love and bliss, happiness, without any modifications and deviations, without any deficits or anything lacking. You are complete unto yourself. You need nothing and no one to make you complete, to make you who you are. All else is just false identifications. So just drop it now. Just drop it and get rid of it. This is not you. That is what Ashtavakra is telling Janaka. Such a beautiful thought. I always feel very inspired when I read our scriptures, because despite whatever mistakes we have made, sins we have committed, wrong we have done, we are never told that you are not deserving of the truth. They say you are the truth. Deserving comes when you have to attain something outside you, then you decide. You are already that. Just drop all these false identities, drop the masks, and you will see your face. In Greece, in amphitheater, which is an old drama tradition in Greece, theater tradition, they put on these masks, and those masks are made of wood or something. So the actor plays many roles. Picks up a mask. Now he's a king. So he'll behave like a king, and once this dialogue delivery is over, he'll put that. Now he'll put on the mask of the beggar and talk like a beggar. That is why these masks are called persona. That is why personality, that comes from that Greek word, who you are. We are nothing but masks. I am a mother, I am a father, I am rich, I am poor, I am learned, I am unlearned, I am noble and kind, I am a sinner. All these are various identities. We have picked it up as a part of our daily drama. But he says, drop all of this. Now you know who you are. This is who you are. Once you get rid of all the makeup, all the mask, all the costume, you know who you are. But tell me, how much effort does it take to become who you are? To drop the mask and the costume and the makeup? No effort. What should you do to attain yourself? Just drop this identity, wrong identity. That is all the method is. Our scriptures are very clear. There is nothing to gain and achieve. There is only to let go. Letting go is the spiritual process. Whereas the world is catch hold of things, grab things, hold things. That is why it is antithetic to all the worldly things that we have learned. In our schools we are taught, get ahead of others, study, run faster, do this, do that, achieve this, achieve that. Then you have an identity, respect, position in society. People will then listen to you. So we are just taught the reverse method. Whereas spirituality says drop everything. Just be yourself. That is how you are. That is who you are. Then what about my earning, living, educating, and all that will happen. All that will happen as a part of the process. That is not the primary reason you came here. Your primary reason is to be yourself, and everything else will happen. Like for an actor, if he's a good actor, he will get roles. He'll perform. Maybe one day beggar's role, another day king's role, third day a rich man's role, fourth day a poor man's role. Whichever role comes, he'll put on the mask and perform. But once the show is over, he drops the mask and becomes himself. So the Ashtavakra Gita says, how much time should it take for you to become yourself? No time. What effort should it take for you to become yourself? No efforts. You already are that. Wrongly identifying yourselves with something else, so drop the identity, wrong identity. That's all is the whole effort. But we, like those beggars I mentioned, they don't want to let go of those bundle of rags, because they think that is what they are. This is their hard work. For last 10 years, they've been collecting all this. And they won't let go of it for a new piece of cloth or fresh food, because they are comfortable in their zones of comfort, and now they have identified themselves with that. Page number 218, the next shloka is 18.36, which says in the same tone, Na apnoti karmana moksham vimudho abhyasa rupina dhanyo vijnana matrena muktastishthat avikriyaha. The fool, what is the nature of the fool? So in all these shlokas, the first line is about the fool, the second line is about the wise. The first line says, Na apnoti karmana moksham. This fool, vimudhaha, never attains the moksha or the freedom by actions. He keeps performing one action after the other. Let me go to this temple, let me go to read that book, let me do this charity, let me go on that pilgrimage. He goes on and on and on. But by all the actions of the world, he does not attain freedom, that moksha. Why? Because he is always trying to practice that self, abhyasa rupina. He thinks only by practicing all these things will I attain the self. As I said, if you want to become yourself, what practice you should have? There is no practice, just be. That is the practice, just be. Give up all other false identity and just be. That is all the practice is. You're not trying to attain something which is outside you. Suppose you want to go to Mount Everest, climb that, then there is an effort. Because Mount Everest exists outside you. You have to climb and you have to do a lot of exercise and train yourself. Then there is effort. But to attain your freedom, you don't need any effort. You already are free as you are. Like the washerman's donkey, you remember. He acts as if he's tying the donkey because he forgets the rope that day. And donkey believes that it has been tied and stands there all day without moving while the washerman washes the clothes and dries them. But at the end of the day, when he tells donkey move, the donkey does not move because donkey still believes it is tied. So unless the washerman again acts as if he's untying the donkey doesn't believe that it is free. Was the donkey not free? It was always free. It could have run away in the morning itself. There was no rope tied to him. But washerman's acting of tying a rope made the donkey think I am tied. The donkey doesn't use his brain. That is why we call those people as donkeys who don't use their brains. It didn't analyze. If I was tied, I should feel the knot around my neck. I should feel the rope. It doesn't think, oh, I am tied. Like that, fools don't think at all. Let us do this, let us do that. Many people take good advantage of these fools. They have some problems in life which is natural. They'll go to some Guruji. Guruji will tell, you know what, do this puja. That will cost you so much. Come on such and such day, I will do for you. And then you will be free from this problem. They go to that Guruji, offer all the dakshina, money, everything. Nothing moves. He says, this is the first step. Like this 7 times we have to do. 7 times they do, nothing happens. This Guruji is no use and things like that. Let us go to somebody else. And they keep hopping from ashram to ashram, guru to guru, and ritual to ritual. They'll never find peace. They'll never find, because there was no peace outside them to find, right? You have to only look within. That never happened. No guru taught them. So the idea of these people is like they go on putting so much of effort, unnecessary efforts, and they don't attain moksha. Then why are you asking us to run hospitals, go to schools and serve? Because I am trying to untie the donkey that you are. That's all I am doing. You must believe that yes, I am untied now, I am free. That's all I am trying to do. Go to the hospital, go to the school, go to this, do charity, do that. What will I attain out of that? You will get rid of that ego which is the noose around your neck. That imaginary noose. That will disappear from your mind and you will feel free. So for that sake, do something. So yes, chittasya shuddhaya karma, it says. Do work for purification of your heart, not for attaining anything out of it. Selflessly, one must do action in the world. Actions are to be done, but selflessly. If you do selfishly, one more round of noose, that snare or whatever, the rope around your neck, think like that. You are binding yourself again and again. That is the idea. So do good work, that will help you at least believe that you are free. And that freedom is all that we try to gain. So what does the jnani does? What does the real wise person, dhanya, means the fulfilled one, the one who has found fulfillment. What is it? Vijnana matrena. He analyzes, understands, and then realizes that this is the truth. Like the little lion cub analyzed. Yes, my face in the water does not look like those sheep. I look like this big thing which came just now. So whom should I believe now? Yes, for years I have lived with them, but this is a new person who came just today. I don't even know him properly. And he tells me that you are one of us, not them. And he shows me my reflection. If it is my reflection, I look like him, then I must be that species. I can't be those. Analysis. The analysis helps him realize. Vijnana. Jnana means knowledge. Vijnana means Vishesha Jnana, which comes with certain analysis. So he has the first step of attaining wisdom is to analyze, because we are living in false identities. We have to ask ourselves, am I really this? Am I really this body, mind, intelligence? Or am I beyond that? That analysis, vichara or vijnana is required. And when will you start doing vichara? When you stay with a wise man, he tells you, you are also me. You are also divine. Then you start thinking, but I have so many shortcomings, faults. He says, none of this is real you. These are superimpositions. Then you start analyzing, start believing. Then you start behaving. So vijnana is this their way. They simply do analysis. Yes, if I am divine, if I am body and mind, then what is this consciousness that I feel? What is this joy that I feel which is unconditional? When I do anything unconditional, I feel that pure joy and bliss. Where does that come from? I don't see the same quality of joy when I do selfish things in the world. The pleasures of the body and the mind don't give me the same peace and that bliss which comes from just doing nothing selfish. So you have to start thinking. That analysis is what this jnani does, and with that only he redeems himself. Like the donkey must analyze. If the rope was there around my neck, why don't I feel it around me? When I shake my head, I don't feel it every day. I feel it, but today I don't feel it. They don't think. They're so lost in doing. Lakir ke fakir, they say in Hindi. Sticklers for the rules. They just can't think on their own. They'll just go like sheep. You've seen how these sheep walk. One day I saw a nice joke. These sheep were there. There is no boundary, in the sense there is no fence. But all these sheep have been huddled there. There is one gate, but no fence, imagine. It means there is no hall, but there is a door. And the first sheep is made to go out of the door. And all the sheep line up behind. They could have gone out from any side because there is no fence at all. But they just watch the first sheep go out of that gate, and everybody is huddling up to get out faster. There's a big traffic jam at the gate of a fence that does not exist. Sheep don't think. They just follow, blindly follow. Like that, these fools blindly follow. Because they're so scared all the time. Will I lose my job? Will my wife be upset? Will my parents die? Business losses will happen? They're so scared all the time. They go on from one place to another asking for ways to protect and preserve themselves. Like those fools, like sheep. Sheep do that all the time because they don't understand anything. They don't think. They don't have vijnana. So, but jnani quickly analyzes and realizes that he is not somebody who is tied down by the body and mind, because his consciousness is all pervading, is expansive. And the joy that he experiences sometimes without even doing anything, where does it come from? What is its source? What are its origins? He analyzes, and then he reads or listens to good people's advice, the wise people, and he starts thinking about it, contemplating on it. And slowly he gets rid of this wrong identity and is able to overcome that bondage which never existed. It was only a false, an imagination. Like children get scared in darkness, they think there is a ghost there. But there is no ghost, but they'll be living in fear all night. Many of our students are there, small ones. They'll hold on, the bladders will be full, but they don't have the courage to walk across the corridor and go to the washroom. Ghost is there in the bathroom. There is no ghost. You switch the light on and you see there is no ghost. So Guru just does that. He doesn't chase the ghost away, which never existed. He just switches on the light and shows there is no ghost. Now go. So did the Guru chase away the ghost that existed there? No, there was never a ghost, so there were never chasing was needed. All you needed is to show that there was no ghost. Likewise, the fools think and fear and worry, oh, all this will go wrong, this will happen, that will happen. They constantly live in that fear. But the wise ones, they have no fear, because they know all these are false ideas. Body itself they don't believe in is their identity. Our biggest fear is losing our bodies. If we die, what happens then? But they don't believe I am the body, I am the consciousness which is beyond the body. Bodies come and go, consciousness remains. That feeling is so strong in them that they are not afraid of anybody. or anything. What can they lose? What can they lose which never existed? What did you lose that never existed? So that is the idea with which they live. That is why they do little bit of analysis and get convinced. And they don't worry about all these things. In now next sloka, page number 222, 18.37, it says, Mudho naapnoti tad brahma yato bhavitum ichhati anichannapi dhirohi parabrahma swarupa bhak. Again, the first line is about the fools. How do they do? The fools never attain that self, the truth, the consciousness, that experience of the consciousness. Again, if I say I never attain, then you will say you are not supposed to attain any which ways. Yes, but they don't realize that they are the lion cub. They still think they are sheep. So why they don't attain that freedom of self? Because they think it has to be attained. Look at the paradox here. They never attain it because they think it has to be attained. It is something other than them which needs to be acquired or attained by efforts. That is why they never attain. What a irony. They are trying to attain whom? Themselves. That is why they never attain. If somebody comes to me and says, I'm searching for myself, I have not found myself since morning. You search for your neighbor, I understand you have not found your neighbor. You search for your friend, I understand. But you come back and say, let's say your name is Ravi. You say, have you seen Ravi anywhere? Or if I come and say, have you seen Madhusudan Sai anywhere since morning? What will you tell? I think something is wrong with you because you are Madhusudan Sai. Oh really? Am I? If I ask you these questions, what will you think of me? Mudha is a fool, ignorant. How can you search for yourself? So this idea that I am searching for truth itself is impediment in you realizing the truth. It's like I am searching for myself. How can you find yourself, you tell me? Right? If any one of you comes to me and tells, have you seen me anywhere? I have been searching ever since. What are you searching? Myself. I said, but you are that. Where will you find yourself? In yourself only. No, you have imagined that you have to find yourself in such and such classroom or such and such place, then you will never find yourself. Because you don't exist other than yourself. Likewise, the fools don't attain divinity because they think divinity exists as something other than them. So they have to go to a temple to find God, or they have to climb up a mountain and meditate to find God, or they have to do this much of charity and austerities to find God. All these ideas are false constructs. That's why they will never find God, because they are searching for it elsewhere. It's like Kuchu's glasses. When we were small, there was a story of one Kuchu. He would keep his glasses on his head and keep searching for it. Till somebody says it's right on your head. That is how it is. That is still okay. At least glasses are different from you. If Kuchu says, I am searching for Kuchu, what should I tell Mr. Kuchu? You will never find Mr. Kuchu, I will tell him, because you are searching in wrong place. You are that. Bhagavan used to tell a story. There was a lady who lost her needle while sewing. And then she was searching on the street for the needle. So a wise man who passed by said, what are you searching, O mother? She said, I have lost my needle, so I am searching for it. Oh, let me help you. Out of compassion, he also started searching. After some time, one more person, a passerby, came and asked, what are you two people doing? We are searching for the needle that this old lady lost. Oh, let me help. He also starts searching. After some time, another lady passes by. She says, what are you three doing? Oh, this grandmother has lost her needle. We are all searching. Oh, let me also join you. Finally, a fifth person comes who is a wise man. He says, what are you people doing? We are all searching for the needle for the last half an hour and we haven't found it. He said, where did you lose the needle? Then the grandmother said, I lost the needle inside the house. Then why are you searching on the street? Because street light is there, light is here and there was no light in the house, so I am searching in the light. What logic is that, you tell me? Will she ever find the needle? Never. Even she searches all her life and all the world together with her searches for the needle, she will not find the needle because it was never lost on the road, it was lost inside the house. Just because light is outside, you will search for the needle there. How foolish is that? Rather, you light a lamp inside the house and look for it, you will find it. So, without these fools don't question. First question you should have asked that lady was, where did you lose the needle? Then she would have told, I lost in the house. Then why are you searching here? Let's go inside and search. But all fools started following them. How do you attain God? You have to climb that mountain. 30 times up and down if you go on your knees, then you will find God. So people climb up all kinds of mountains. And nobody asks the question, why are we searching for God on the mountain? Is God not supposed to be within us? Nobody will ask that question, right? Don't ask question. The senior priest has told this. So orthodoxy, superstition, fanaticism, extremism, all this is born in such ideas. Then nobody would say that I am wrong, so that falsity will become the new truth. Because nobody will say, you know what, actually I was wrong. How could you say that? Now you can't say that. Thousands believe in you now that this is the method. So now what do you make a mystery out of God? God is never to be found by anybody just like that. Unless you are so and so, you cannot find God. So everybody curses, I am not so and so, I have not yet attained wisdom, I have not evolved, I am a sinner, therefore I cannot find God. But the method itself was wrong. That the first person who created that method is not telling. He is quietly doing what he wants to do, because now he cannot swallow his words and declare himself that he was wrong. That is where all this dogmatism, orthodoxy and superstition starts coming in, because they don't accept their mistake, these people who started the trend in the first place, because they are not having honesty, they are not truthful, they are not having the courage to declare that they were wrong. Now these false things become the new norm, and people blindly follow without questioning any of these ideas. That is where all the problems are happening in the world. So why I am particular about Ashtavakra? Because Ashtavakra destroys all these constructs. He says, enough is enough. How long will you search for yourself elsewhere? You are where you are. You are not, so God is not other than you is our scriptural truth. If we are all made of God, then we are that, right? If a bangle is made of gold, it is gold. It is not other than gold. It looks like something else. Yeah, a gold bar or a coin looks one way. A bangle looks another way. But then if you little analyze, vichara you do, vijnana, you will know this is gold only. This is made of gold. Once upon a time it looked like this. Now it looks like this, because once goldsmith worked on it and made it into a bangle. If you melt it, it will go back to its original shape. That is the vichara that the jnanis do. They don't get fooled by all these external rituals. So he says that you cannot find, fools never find themselves because they are searching for themselves. So they never find themselves. Why? They think it has to be attained other than them. Whereas anichannapi dhirohi, whereas the wise person, even without any desire for it, because he has no desire to attain himself, he knows he is the self. So, Parabrahma Swarup Bhag. So he immediately enjoys the state of being Parabrahma, being supreme consciousness. He enjoys all the time, because he is always aware that he is the lion cub and not the sheep that he thought of himself to be. That understanding is amazing. So what happens? The moment Ashtavakra becomes the trend, let us say, it starts trending now. Ashtavakra says, don't bother about doing rituals, don't go to temples, don't have to follow any instructions. Just believe that you are divine and you will become divine. It will create so much of ruckus in the society today. All these priests and whatever, the ritualistic people, the in charges of temple complexes and all these religious institutions, they will be crestfallen. They would say, where our donations will come now from? Who is going to worship us and listen to us anymore? How will we influence politics and people of the place? So they will immediately disregard it, and they will call it blasphemy. Why? Because everything is at risk for them. That is why Vedanta is not accepted by so many very people around the world, because they feel insecure. They feel all that they have built so far is gone. So, even though people around them know that what they are telling is not the truth, they don't have the courage to say it to their face. So everybody is living in a falsehood. Remember the story of that king's robe, that invisible robe of the king. That becomes the new trend. For the children's sake, there was a king who wanted one of the best robes for his, when he was to be crowned the king. So he called everybody and told the best of the tailors and all those designers to design a very beautiful robe for him for the crowning ceremony. And everybody gave him very many ideas, so many designs, but he was not satisfied. He said, oh, this also I saw it with another king. This is an old design. That is, he kept on refusing. And already the day was approaching when he had to be crowned the king. And nobody knew how to create a robe for him. So one wise man who said this king can never be satisfied, he came up with an idea. He never made any robe, but he came and acted as if he's carrying a beautiful robe in his hand. There was nothing in his hand. And he said, this is a special robe. Nobody can see it. But it is such a beautiful robe. It is called an invisible robe. So everybody said, oh, this is the first time such a robe has been designed and made. No king has ever worn it for his crown ceremony. So you are the first one to have it. The king felt very, very, honored by knowing this, that he will be the first to wear this robe. And then the designer keeps describing, oh, look at that beauty, that flower there, that design here, that king can't see anything. But he thinks, if I say I can't see, I'll be looking like a fool. So he says, yes, I do see the flower, that pattern there, those gems there, that embroidery here. And when king says yes, the ministers also start saying, yes, it's very beautiful. The whole court starts saying, of course, indeed, it is one of the most unique robes that we have ever seen. So now everybody is convinced that there is a robe because the designer was so clever with it. Now everybody believes there is a robe, but nobody has the courage to tell the king that there is actually no robe. What are you doing? And king does not have the courage to say that I do not understand this new design because I am supposed to be the wisest person. So everybody believes there is a robe. Now on the day of wearing the crown, the king comes out of his chambers wearing the invisible robe and parades around the town. And all the citizens are shocked to see their king walking around naked. But nobody has the courage, because the story has been spread that king is wearing a very, very unique invisible robe which is very beautifully embroidered, and never in the history such a robe has been worn by any king. Ours is the uniquest king. So everybody is shut up. Nobody has the courage to say it is wrong. And imagine this king is walking with pride, naked on the streets. Just then a child who doesn't care, who doesn't understand what to say and what not to say. He is truthful. Remember, we talked about children. He says, the king is naked. Then the king realizes, I must be naked because the child says so. Whereas all his subjects, ministers, the people, nobody dared to say he is naked. That has happened to religion today. They see the falsehood in religion. They see the wrong constructs. They see this idea of controlling, suppressing people, using religion as a tool. They see dividing people in the name of religion, causing them to fight, and wars happen and people are murdered, and there are more number of people who have died in religious wars than in any other way in the history of humankind. But nobody dared to call out and say it is wrong. Somebody did. One Jesus Christ was there who stood up and said, this is nonsense. And what happened to him, everybody knows. Once it happened to him, everybody else shut up. Better not speak about it. Same thing happened in Hindu religion. Caste systems were misused and people were treated so badly. The lower caste people were treated worse than animals. Nobody raised a voice. Why? Because the powerful and mighty would not allow it. They will kill, finish them off, whoever speaks out. And that is how the religion has become a curse more than a help today. And youngsters are running away. Yesterday also I was talking to somebody, says, now the younger generation doesn't believe in God and religion and all this stuff. Because they don't understand why it is so, why it is discriminatory, why it is for some and not for everyone, why everybody is not treated equal. And that has become the new trend, and these questioning kinds of younger generation, they don't care. Because they don't want anything from you. They don't want your votes, they don't want your popularity, they don't want name and influence. So they are running away from God and religion. That has to be changed, is what I told. That is why I've changed the whole idea to service. Let the service be the front wheel and spirituality be the rear wheel. Let the cycle run like this. And that youngsters are enjoying because they see goodness, they feel some joy in it. And then they start asking the right questions. And then you give them the right answers, they are very happy. That's why one beautiful shloka is there in 224. It's from Mandukya Karika, not from here, but it's a reference shloka which is very beautiful. It says, Asparsha yogo vainama durdasha sarva yogi bihi yogino bibhyati hyasmat abhaye bhayadarshinaha. People are scared of Vedanta. Even so-called yogis, karma yogi, bhakti yogi, jnana yogi, kriya yogi, hatha yogi, all kinds of yogis who believe that if you do these rituals only you will attain God. That is their identity. Their whole system runs on this narrative. And Ashtavakra rejects all of this. Vedanta itself rejects all of this. So Mandukya Karika is a beautiful treatise by Gaudapada, the teacher of Adi Shankaracharya. And there a shloka comes, says, what is this yoga? Is it Kriya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga? What kind of yoga? This is Asparshanama Yoga, he says. Yoga of not touching. Yoga of something that can never be touched. So it is not about turning the rosary beads, no. Is it not about meditating, sitting in Padmasana? No. Is it not about holding your breath and you are controlling your senses? None of this. Then what is this yoga? It is the yoga of invisibility, which means it does not exist. Then how do you deal with it? That is the whole problem, because there is nothing to do to achieve it. So all these yogis who have big schools of yoga and they run businesses in the name of yoga are extremely scared of it, because it destroys every of their false narratives. So all yogis are scared of this yoga, which is the yoga of that which cannot be touched, seen or tasted, smelt or experienced. So yogina bibhyati. So all these yogis are scared of this new method of yoga. Why? Because they are scared where they should not be scared. Why they are scared? Because that will make all their earlier practices and ideas turn false. And that is their identity. They'll hold on to those false identities. They'll never say that there is never a robe there and the king is walking naked. They will never say it. They'll fool more people into it. And they'll spread this false narrative and make people feel incapable of attaining God. They'll make them depend on themselves, because that is how their shop runs. So they will never tell the truth that you don't need me. You actually can realize God all by yourself. You don't need to come to my temples, churches, gurudwaras and mosques. You will find God if you become pure within yourself. But that will destroy the businesses that run around this whole story. So that is the idea. That is the idea of Ashtavakra. That is why all these people are scared of Ashtavakra. Why? Once our Narasimurti called him, he is a spiritual terrorist, because he terrorizes all the so-called spiritualists. He tells, we don't need you. Thank you so much. We don't need you anymore. We can find God by ourselves. We don't need your assistance in finding God. We don't need your churches, mosques, temples and gurudwaras to find God. We don't need all your methods and means to find God. We don't need to make donations to you to find God. We can find God on our own, says Ashtavakra. And that is something that won't go down very well. So they create fear. No, that is a wrong narrative. How can you do this? They tell lies. So that is why Ashtavakra is not for everybody, I keep saying. The next sloka is 18.38 on page number 225, which says, Niradhara grahavragra mudha samsara poshakaha etasyan anartha moolasya moolachhedah kruto budhaihi. Which means Niradhara grahavyagra. Niradhara means which has no basis. Grahavyagra mudha. The fool is so eager to catch hold of it, like children try to catch shadows. They don't exist. But when shadow moves in the wall, they try to catch. They think that exists on the wall. Likewise, this Niradhara, which has no basis, no foundation, this world does not exist as per Vedanta. Not exist means it does not exist permanently. It's a relative world. It's not permanent. So you search for permanent happiness in an unpermanent world, it is not going to happen. But people want happiness out of this impermanent world. See, you become happy because you got married, but tomorrow you fight and your happiness disappears. You became happy because you bought a new house, but neighbor bought a bigger house, now happiness disappears. You became happy because you got a new promotion increment, but your neighbor, colleague got better promotion increment, your happiness disappears. So these are relative. So relative happiness is not truth, is what our Vedanta declares. That which is permanent alone is truth. That which is changing cannot be truth, is the idea. So these people are those who are chasing shadows. And they're Vyagra, they're so eager to chase it. You see the amount of passion and effort that you see in the world. People work 18 hours a day. For what? To get a little more money, to get ahead in life, to succeed. So much effort they put. They're so vyagraha, they're so eager, so restless, so agitated. Why? They want to catch hold of those shadows. Is how he puts it. Samsara poshaka. Therefore, this samsara or this idea of good and bad, happiness and sorrow exists for them. Can you ever catch hold of a shadow and hold it with you? You can never. If you catch hold of the object, of course, shadow comes with it. But our scriptures declare object is God, world is shadow. Try to catch hold of the world, you'll get nothing. Catch hold of God, you'll get the world also. Bhagavan used to give the example of a coconut tree. If you want real coconut, you have to climb up the tree and get the coconut. If you go to the shadow of the coconut tree and catch the shadow coconuts, will you get anything out of it? No, because there is no basis to that shadow. The basis to the shadow is the truth of the real coconut tree. So what you have to do, climb the coconut tree. You will get the real coconuts as well as the shadow coconut. So he said, go for God, world will come to you. Don't run behind the world because God may not come. Like when you catch a shadow, you don't catch the object. That is the whole concept of Ashtavakra. He says, Niradhara, it has no basis. Yet, grah vyagraha muda. The fool is so eager to catch hold of it. Like children try to catch shadows. They try to hit and play. Which is not true. So samsara pashika. So they are sad or happy. When they hit the shadow, they are happy. When they miss the shadow, they are sad. This is what we are doing. We get some success in the world, we are happy. We fail in the world, we are sad. What has happened? What happens to the wise ones? What do they do? They analyze. This thing is real or is a shadow? So what is etasyad anartha moolasya moolachhedaha? They go to the root of this problem. They don't skim the surface. They don't just listen to anybody and believe blindly. No. They do their own analysis. They go to the root of the problem. Why my mind is always fickle? Why it jumps from happiness to sorrow to this to that? Why I am not study? What is the reason for it? They go down and down and down, analyze, dig and go to the root of the cause. And what is the root of the cause? Ignorance. It's shadow. It's not real tree. That is the ignorance. I thought it is a real tree, so I was trying to get the coconut out of it. So they go down to the root cause of it, analyze and say, this is not the real tree is behind me. So in front of me is the shadow of the tree. Then they turn around, look at the real tree, and then they climb the tree. That is the idea. So what they do, they go to the root of the problem and uproot it once for all. They uproot the ignorance once for all. Once they uproot it, what happens? They become buddhiman, they become full of wisdom, because they analyze and go to the root cause and remove it from the root, not just trim it from on the surface. What we do, that is why I said, once you start on the spiritual path, you can't sweep it all under the carpet and feel good. That house is clean and everything is neat. No, it can't happen. You have to dust the carpet, remove all that which you have accumulated, clean it all up. Go to the root of your problem. Why this sadness in my life? Why this restlessness in my life? Why the agitation? Why the depression? Or the excitement, whichever way. Why am I swinging between the two? Go to the deep down and realize that because I believe I am the body and the mind and the intelligence, and I believe this world is real, and I believe all these people are the reasons why I can be happy or sad. I am dependent on all of these. That is why I am suffering. The moment I become independent, where is the suffering? There is no suffering after that. You don't need anyone to complete you. You don't need anyone to make you happier than what you already are. There are no dependencies because there are no desires in you. That is the root cause. Desire is the root cause of all my problems. False desires, wrong desire to catch hold of the coconuts in the shadow. That's a wrong desire. Go and work where the real problem is, not in like search the needle where it has been lost. Just because it is convenient to search on the street does not help you find the needle. That is the idea. Spirituality is inconvenient. It's uncomfortable. It tests, as I said, your convictions, your endurance, faith, your resilience. We want to stay in comfort zone. Go over Sunday church, do some prayer, come back, we have found enough peace in God. We are used to 6 days of restlessness, 1 day of peace. We are okay with that. You settle down for such limited ideas then. Then you never attain the ultimate truth. You'll never find God. Why? Because you are searching in the wrong place. Your methodology is wrong. Methodology is climb down all the way to the root and uproot the tree once for all. Once we were doing one project. See, today we have these PowerPoints and all that. In those days, there used to be an overhead projector. It will have a light from under, and then you put some blank plastic sheets on which you write anything, it will project it onto the wall. That's how we used to make presentations then. So one day somebody was presenting, so his slide was here on the surface of the machine, and then this will be projected onto the wall. So in that slide there was a mistake, and while he was presenting, one of my classmates, he saw the mistake on the wall and started wiping it there. He said, that won't wipe because that's only a projection. The real problem is here. Likewise, our mind, because the world looks real to us, we are seeing the projection around us, this looks real, we try to grab it. Like children try to grab images on the wall or shadows. That is how they play. But it is not true. Like my grandmother was there, she fooled me for a long time saying that all the people inside the TV can see you. And I lived in such trauma and fear that, oh, that newsreader in the TV knows me now. And if I'd make any mischief, she would find out. I just believed it because my grandmother said that. See, she had to keep 3 unruly children under her control all day. What else she could do but tell us lies like this? So when TV came newly, we were very excited. So she would tell, see, all those people are watching you, you better keep quiet. So we will all sit like statues in front of the TV. For some time she will have peace in the house. That is how we were living. Till one day I thought to myself, if this person really lives inside the TV, where she gets new saris to wear every day? How does she eat? How does she sleep? Where is her room? Some vichara I started. I was growing up. So I analyzed. Then I told my brother and sister, something is wrong with this grandmother's narratives. I don't believe it anymore. Because why you don't believe? Because see, if this lady is living there, yesterday she was wearing something else, today she is wearing something else. So where is her clothes? Where are the clothes? And in such a small TV she is living, and where is her bedroom? How does she go to washroom? What does she eat? I never seen them doing anything inside. So one day we decided to open the TV. Actually, we opened it also to look for the newsreader and all the people who come. But what we found instead, just one big picture tube. Nothing else. It was an empty box. There were no people inside it. It was all lie. And we were living a lie all this while. But that is the idea. But my grandmother was very upset. Why did you open this TV? I'll tell your mother once she's back. Because she was keeping us under her thumb. That is the only way she could control us. Like that, all these false narratives of, come to me, I will make you meet God. Come to me and I will solve your problems. Come to me and I'll help you realize. All this is nonsense. Ashtavakra says nonsense. So should we come to ashram or not? Next you will ask. It will come if you wish to come, not because I am going to help you find something. You will find it yourself. I am only going to point it out to you where to search. Don't search in the wrong place. That's all I can tell you. The searching is your problem. I am not going to search for you. You search for yourself, you put your efforts. But I will only point it out, saying this is where you are making a mistake, this is what you should correct. That's all I can do as a teacher. I am supposed to guide. I am not supposed to do your homework. I can only assist you, guide you. That's what I will do. But somebody says, because of me you will find God, they are wrong. Somebody says, because if you don't come to this temple, church, this, so you'll never be at peace, you'll never find God. They are wrong. That is wrong. That is why all these great ones, whether it's Francis of Assisi, who was also punished because he opened the church for the peasants and farmers and poor people who could make no donations. So the big church felt very unnerved. My goodness, our control is getting loosened on the people. Like that temples, these people will enter, those people will not enter. So much of nonsense in the world in the name of religion. Why all this is wrong? This is all those fools eagerly trying to grab the shadows and projections and suffering all day long, whereas the wise one analyzes what's inside the TV. Let's get a screwdriver. Let's open it and see what lies inside. And then you find out nothing is there. This was all false. My grandmother was fooling us all this while, and we become wise. Now we are not going to be controlled by her anymore. We are free. We are free. Were we not free before? We were, but we believed that we were not free because we were being watched. Now we are free because we know that is false. There is nobody living inside the TV. So this realization, go to the root of the problem and analyze why you suffer, why do you get excited, why do you get depressed, why things change all the time, why are you not always in a steady state of happiness. What are the reasons? You will find your desires are the reasons. Once you get rid of the desires and live a selfless life, inspired by the divine, you will have no such fluctuations. You will always be steady and happy. Next sloka is page number 2230, 18.39, which says, न शांतिम लभते मूढ़ो यतः शमितुमिच्छति धीरस् तत्त्वं विनिश्चित्य सर्वदा शांतमानसः. The fool goes around crying, I want peace, I want peace, I want peace. But he never finds peace. Bhagavan used to say, I want peace. Remove I, remove want, all you have is peace. I, the ego, want, the desire. Remove both, what remains is peace. Our reason for not having peace is because we have an ego which never subsides and we have desires which never end. That is why we are never peaceful. Something or the other keeps bothering us. So the fool, what he does, he goes on searching for peace. He wants peace. He wants to get rid of all the noise and clutter and all the disturbances so that he can be at peace. But he never finds peace, they say, because externally he can make himself peaceful. If he shoos away everybody or runs away to a place of solitude, he will find some peace. But mentally, is he peaceful? No, inside of him, it's not peaceful because that is running continuously, all the thoughts, desires, ideas. So he never attains peace. Whereas the wise one, what he does, he believes that he is the very embodiment of peace. There is never a moment when he is not peaceful. He believes in it because he is satisfied. What is peace actually? Satisfaction is peace. When you have very satisfied, you are very peaceful. You don't have any desire. You don't have anything to run behind. You are peaceful within yourself. When you have any desire, idea, ambition, attachment, then your peace is lost. So this person is desireless. So he is always peaceful and he vinishtitya and he believes that his very nature is peace. Nobody can steal his peace away from him because he is peace. He doesn't want peace. He is the very peace that he is looking for. Why? He has no desires whatsoever. So he is a very peaceful life. He has no problem at all. Whereas others want to run away from here and there. Once Swami Vivekananda was complaining to Ramakrishna Paramsa, whenever I try to meditate, there is this factory whose siren goes and makes noise and it disturbs my peace. Then Ramakrishna Paramsa said, start meditating on the siren. Why you should not? And actually I tried these things. When you are irritated and something is bothering you, something is noisy, especially you see our construction. This construction is endless. I have come here 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Ever since this construction has not stopped. So continuously they are hammering something, cutting, making. All the time there is noise. So once I thought I will start. So they were hammering something near the Shiva statue. So I started thinking, tung, 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 this is going on. So I was just meditating on this. 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So I will say, oh, then I'll say, Ram, 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 like that. You just enjoy that sound itself. What choice you have? You can't shut them up. You can't wish them away. You have to deal with it. You have to live in this world. You have to be surrounded by all kinds of characters. Then how do you find your peace? Your peace comes from not searching for it outside, but actually making peace with yourself within. And that's something that requires you to let go of your attitudes and desires and your demands in life. Whatever is there, I'll adjust with it, you will find peace. That is how he says that the wise one, they believe they are peace. They don't need peace from outside. They can find peace within. Therefore, they are always satisfied and they are always sarvada shanta manasa. They are always of peaceful demeanor in any situation. They don't need to change their outside to be at peace. They have already changed their inside and they see peace everywhere. So this is the beauty of these people. Once there is a story that one guru was there and this disciple came to him and said, in my house there is so much of noise, there is so much of trouble, my wife goes on talking all the time, my children are crying and jumping and shouting, I find no peace to meditate, what do I do? Then the guru said, do you have cows? He said, yes, we do have cows. He said, do one thing, bring all the cows and tie them inside the house. You will find peace. He says, what is this method? It will become worse. He said, no, just do that. So he says, oh, cows are sacred and my teacher is divine, so I'm sure he has some solution. She brings all the cows and ties them up all in the house. Now inside the house there are 4 cows, 1 wife, 4 children. The life is miserable. He comes back to the Guru after some days. He says, I don't understand. You made me do this and it didn't work. It made it worse. He said, is it so? I'm so sorry. Now take all the cows and tie them outside again where they belonged. So he goes home, takes all the cows and ties them outside. He says, my house is so peaceful now. It's the same house, the same wife, same children, minus the cows. So sometimes God does this to us. We go and bother God. I am having so much trouble. He creates a little more trouble. And when that little more trouble is resolved, then you feel, I am quite happy actually. I have no problem. Somebody the other day was complaining. I told them, when people were complaining to God in a village, I have so many problems. God said, come tomorrow to the ground, center of the village. Bring all your problems and put them on the ground. So they all brought their problems in bundles, big, small, and threw them all on the ground. And then God said, okay, now you have only one, you have a choice. You can exchange your problem with anybody else's problem, whichever you like. And suddenly people realized that their problem was the least of all. Sometimes we don't realize that we already have peace till we undergo worse situations in life, and then we find, no, this is better. This itself is peace. So peace is not an external thing. It doesn't come from outside. First you should get that right. If you think you are not peaceful because of your children, because of your husband, because of the job, no, you are all searching in the wrong place. If you are peaceful within, everything else you can be dealing with that peace and equanimity. Because you are not peaceful inside, so you see restlessness everywhere. Yatha drishti tatha srishti, they say. As your vision, so is the world. So a good person will have peace within, and he will always deal with everybody with peace. Cool-headed. Shanta manasaha. Shitala manasaha. Whereas a restless person, even if everything is peaceful, he will create the mess. Because inside he is not at peace. So he will disturb everybody's peace. So the wise ones have figured this out, that the peace is within. There is nothing to search outside. Whereas the fools are trying to set all the outside right so that they are able to attain peace. This is the way of the two. The next sloka 18.40 says, Kvatmano darshanam tasya yo drishtam avalambate dhirastam tamna pashyanti pashyantyatmanam avyayam. Again, first line is about the fool. How does he behave? He tries to see things as they are. In the sense, he wants to have some bit of dependency. He is dependent on the external things to believe in anything. Drishtam avalambate. He needs to believe in something only if he sees it. Now, can you see God? You can't see God. So I don't believe in God. That is the way of the atheists. Where is God? Show me. I can't see. I don't believe. Period. No arguments after that. Whereas the wise ones, what they do, they see that which is not seen in everything. They see the Atman where the world exists. For example, the jeweler, as we always say, you go to the jeweler with a jewelry, and when you give the jewelry, the jeweler is not interested in the design and all those make. He is interested in the weight of the gold and purity of the gold. That is what is of value to him. For the woman, that might be her some heirloom, my mother's jewelry and things like that. But for jeweler, it is just a piece of gold. Heartlessly, he will melt it into a piece of gold and weigh it and give you the price for it. That's it. Whereas a lady would be so emotional about it. So the idea is that these fools, they only believe when they see something. So they are dependent on physical experience to believe in anything. Whereas the wise one can see beyond, because they see the self in all that exists around them. Like the jeweler sees gold in all the ornaments. Whereas the fools will get stuck with the ornament. My bangle is better than yours. My chain is better than yours. My jewelry design is better than yours. They are stuck there and they'll argue forever. A jeweler only will see the gold. No, your gold is less, his gold is more. I am going with him. That is the idea. They don't see the externalities. Our fools, they always depend on the external. Only if they see, they believe. And so, they are never able to find God, because God is not seen. God is only experienced. If somebody says, give me a kilogram of God, I want to buy you can't get it in the shops. God is an experience. Self is an experience. You can't buy it from anywhere. That is the idea. So this dependency on outside things does not exist for these people who see something more than that. They see through the differences and see the unity in that. That's why I always said, if I had that telescopic, microscopic vision, I would have seen only molecules and elements moving in each one of you. I wouldn't see the skin and the beauty of it, right? If I break it all down, beyond your beauty and the body, what lies? Okay, bone and flesh. After that, what lies? Some bone marrow and some cells. In the cells, what does it lie? Okay, there is a nucleus, there is this, that. After that, break it down, break it down, break it. There are atoms. After that, subatomic particles. After that, space. Everything is space. Electrons are not even particles now. We don't even know how to point them out. But yet we look like made of solid. The wood is solid, hand is solid. Because we are all held together with, that whole space is held together with tremendous energy and force. What we call it the unified field theory now. That energy holds us together, so we look like solid. But we are all spaces. We don't exist. If you go really scientifically also, we don't exist in the shapes that we believe we are in. Because we are just spaces. But we appear to exist this way. So a fool thinks, oh, this is the appearance, this is real. A scientist will look through all this, see through all this and see, oh, these are all just atoms and spaces. Nothing more than that. So he cannot get attached to the forms and names if he's a scientist. Why? Because he cannot see forms and names. He can only see the spaces and energies. So that is how the Jnani does not see this Jagat, the world, and gets attached to it. He sees through all this Jagat into that Atman, that Brahman which has made this world. And therefore he is able to perceive that which is unperceivable through physical faculty. That is the idea of Vedanta. That is why Vedanta is not for everybody, because we don't believe unless we taste and empirically can measure it. Taste, smell, taste, hear or see or touch. We don't believe in things. But Vedanta by its very definition demands that you must learn to believe in things that you don't see, taste, smell, touch or hear. God is beyond the senses. So that is Vedanta. Now Tatra Surya Bhati, there is a beautiful shloka in the next page which says, how is that divinity defined in our scriptures? Na Tatra Surya Bhati na Chandra Tarakam Nema Vidyuto Bhanti Kutoyam Agnihi Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati. There the sun does not shine, it seems. The moon does not shine. No lightning, not even fire. As it shines, everything shines. In its shine, everything shines. That is the definition of God in our Vedanta. How do we know God? We know God through God only. God itself has to enable us to know Him. We cannot know Him from our mind or senses. Like, how do we see, like, if you see an object in this room, I will ask you, how do you see this object? You will see, because it is, I am seeing in the light of the bulbs. How do you see the light of the bulb is my question. You see the table in the light that is coming from the bulbs. Now I want to see the light that is pervading this whole room. Can we see that light? We don't see light. We see the reflection of things in that light. If I remove all the things from here, nothing to reflect, can I see the light of the bulb? No, it will just pass through the universe. If there is vacuum, there is nothing here. The light will just disappear in the universe. I will never see it. Anything I see in this world is reflection of things. But the light itself is unseen. Objects are seen, but light itself is unseen. That is the idea. Because if there is no object to reflect it, the light will just pass through. We will never see anything. So that is the idea. How does God is? God is that unseen, using which everything is seen. God is that unheard, using which everything is heard. God is that untouched, using which everything is touched. So God is that energy or power or whichever you put it, because of which we experience the world. So how do you know God exists? If you experience the world, it is because God exists. That is the definition of Vedanta. How do you know God exists? Because the world exists for you. You are able to see everything, perceive everything because of that power of God that is within you. Otherwise you won't see. That is how the idea is. One more beautiful shloka, just for academic sake, 234. It is from Keno Upanishad, another great Upanishad, which says, what lies behind our eyes? What lies behind our ears? What's hidden behind our mind? And it explains, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyad Vachoha Vacham Sau Pranasya Pranaha Chakshuscha Chakshuha Atimuchya Dhiraha Pretyasman Lokat Amrita Bhavanti. Such a beautiful shloka which says, that is the ear of the ear. This is a ear, tympanum and all that. But behind that there is an ear, they say. That is God. who makes us hear things. That power is God. Then manaso manoyat, mind of the mind, it says. Mind is not the brain part of it. That ability to analyze and perceive and experience things is mind. That is God. Then vacho hi vacham, that which is the speech of the speech. So tongue is not the speech, no. The ability to speak is God. Then pranasya prana, the life of life. So we are breathing, as a blood is circulating, body is digesting food. Is that not life? No. That power which makes all this happen is life. That is God. So chakshush to chakshush, similarly eye of the eye. So all that we see with our pupils and eye, is it not all? No. Behind that there is a power which enables our eyes to perceive things. That is God. So like that he goes on explaining, and he says once one person gets detached from this world, he attains immortality only if he knows the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, the speech of the speech, the whatever, what lies behind all that which is apparent and seen. That invisible, unheard, untouched, unsmelt, untasted power is divinity. But that makes everything happen. So how do you know you are God? Are you able to hear, taste, smell, touch, hear? Yes, then you are God. Because unless God is there, all this is not possible for anybody. So what happens to those people who are in coma? They don't see, hear, smell, touch and all things. Yet their life force is there. The body is still functioning. Divinity is there. The idea is that divinity is the reason why we even experience the world. If there is no divinity, we can't experience this world. So how do you refute the arguments of the atheists that God does not exist? You say you exist, therefore God exists. Without God, you cannot exist. You exist. How do you know there is light in this room? Because I can see things, that's why I know light is there. But can I see light itself? I can't. The light that is starting from the bulb and reaching me here, can I see it in between? I cannot see it. I can see it only when it reflects on something. Sometimes the morning light comes through the window. And then when it passes, I see it as rays high. There are dust particles in the room or smoke in the room. That gets reflected. Then I see the beam of light coming to the room. If there is no dust, no nothing, I cannot see light. Likewise, God is that subtle energy, that power, that light with which we see everything. But we don't see the light itself. Therefore, we believe light does not exist. But that will be foolishness. Because of the light, you are seeing things. That is how you are experiencing this world because of God. That is the basic premise of Vedanta. And so it is impossible for a Vedantin to believe God does not exist. Though he cannot see him physically, taste, smell, touch, but that is the definition of God. He is not supposed to be tasted, smelled, touched. But he is the reason why tasting, smelling, touching, everything is happening. So that concept itself is so beautiful in Vedanta. I wanted to highlight that. Actually, I wanted to finish this chapter. Shall I finish it? So that tomorrow you can have your quiz. We'll go fast. 5 more shlokas. Or are you bored now? Let me see how fast I can finish. So 18.41, which says, Kva nirodho vimudasya yo nirbandham karoti vai swaramasyaeva dhirasya sarvada sa akritrimaha. Which means, for the fool only this idea of controlling occurs. I must control my life, I must control things, I must control this, I must control that. This idea of wanting to have a control over your destiny, over yourself, is all foolish ideas. It's all under a great divine will and it is happening as per the will. This belief is that of the wise. But we are very, very particular. We want to have control over things, right? We want to have predictable lives. We want to know what's next and how it will be. Otherwise, we are restless. We are not able to sit in peace unless we know what's coming next and how we are going to deal with it. We don't want uncertainties. We want predictable, controllable futures. But that is something which it cannot be the way of the wise. The unwise people are like that. They want to control and predict and everything. So they keep controlling their mind also. My mind is not listening to me. It is not focusing on God. It is going here and there. So they try to suppress their mind, emotions, their instincts. They try to control it. What does the wise do? Swara amasyaiva dhirasya. A wise is established in the self, in the divine feeling. For him, whatever is happening, let it happen. Because he is not the doer of anything. He is not controller of anything. Whatever is happening is as per the divine will, so let it happen. That is how he is. Somebody died, okay. Some new person was born, fine. A friend has fallen sick, all right. A friend has recovered from sickness, fine. Somebody's birthday, fine. Somebody has lost somebody, okay. So they are not attached and they don't get affected. Whereas the fools try to control everything, and most of all, they try to control their own mind, which is impossible to control. Controlling the mind is like controlling the wind, says Arjuna. Can you control the wind? No, you can direct the wind, but you can't control the wind. You can't capture it, you can't grab it. So the idea of mind is this, idea of fools is that they try to control which is uncontrollable. Do you have any control over your destiny, you tell me? You think you have control, but you're fooling yourself. It's coming from elsewhere. That surrender is the way of the wise. Because they're established in the self, so they don't have this idea of trying to control or not control. So therefore, their life is a spontaneous, effortless flow. They don't try to resist and fight and change and question. They just are witnesses to whatever is happening. That's what Bhagavan used to say. When he used to give watches, he will say WATCH. W means watch your words. A means watch your actions. T, watch your thoughts. C, watch your character. H, watch your heart, he would say. So what do the wise do? They just watch. They don't try to interfere and control it. When they watch, they become aware. Whether they are speaking the right things or wrong things. Whether they are doing the right things or the wrong things. They become aware. Fools, they just get involved so much that they don't find the difference between what is outside and what they are watching. So be a witness to your own thoughts, words, actions. That is one way you can not control, but you can direct the mind. Children are there. Without realizing, they keep doing things sometimes. Elders are watching over, then they correct them or save them. Suppose the child is playing and about to reach or near fire. The child does not know the one, but parent is watching, can go and pull the child back. Like that, you have to watch your own mind. The wise ones are like that. They watch what is happening like a witness. They don't try to interfere with it. So to distance yourself a little bit and watch yourself is the key according to Ashtavakra. Fools try to control, watch, witness. What wise one, witness it. Next shloka is 42, page number 240, which says, Bhavasya bhavakah kaschit na kinchit abhavako paraha ubhaya bhavakah kaschit evameva nirakulaha. There are two ways of looking at the world. It exists or it does not exist. You say it exists, then you run behind it. The Vedantins say, or the wise people supposedly say, oh, this world is an illusion, it does not exist. The real wise ones, they don't care whether it exists or it doesn't. They are beyond both, is it said. If it exists, then you will run after it. If it does not exist, then you will try to reject it. But rejecting and accepting both do not exist in the wise ones. Whatever comes, whichever way, they are happy with it. That idea of controlling and having predictability, having clarity on things, they don't worry about it. They just flow like a river. What comes next? A mountain or a gorge or a field or a town? The river does not care. It flows. If it's a mountain, it cannot move the mountain. It will go around the mountain and flow. It doesn't insist, unless the mountain moves, I am not going to flow any further. Jnanis are not like that. Jnanis flow. Whatever comes their way, they take it in the best of the spirits and continue. They don't fight unnecessarily. But the problem with the Jnani is that this exists, so I should have it. That does not exist. Means suddenly they read a few scriptures and say, oh, this world is an illusion. It does not exist. I don't want wife. I don't want house. I don't want job. I don't want this. I want to run away. That idea is also wrong. That is why the Jnanis suffer, because either they are trying to attain something or they are trying to run away from it. And that is why they continuously suffer. You understand my point? But if you are a Jnani, you will flow. That is the idea. And beautiful shlokas are there in other Upanishads also about the same. Especially Keno Upanishad. You can read it for your own academic this thing. I have not written it here, which says, Anyad eva vidhihi, anyad eva avidhihi, aviditam. Anyad eva viditam, tat anyad eva aviditam also adhihi. Which means it is different from what is known and different from what is not known also. That is the nature of self. If you say you know it, you don't know it. And if you say you don't know it, you are wrong. Because you know it by being it. You can't know it as an outside thing is the idea. If you know it as something outside you, then you don't know it at all. Like, how do you know you are alive? I have to go to the hospital and check whether my heart is beating, my respiratory and circulatory systems are working. Then the doctor will tell me that you are alive and he'll give me a certificate. That's how do you get to know that you are alive. So if you say, I don't know I am alive, What should I think of you? Or you say, I know I am alive. Why should you state that? Or do you need a third party to tell you that you are alive by doing some analysis on you? None of this is necessary. You are alive because you are. There is no need to say that I am alive. There is no need to say that I am not alive, or worry that whether I am alive or not, I do not know. And somebody needs to help me. Like that, are you divine? I don't know. That's wrong. I know, that is also wrong. I need somebody to tell me whether I am divine or wrong. Not, that is also wrong. You are divine as you are. That is the definition of our divinity. So this idea of doing, wanting to find out from somewhere, proving it, bhava or abhava do not exist in the minds of the jnani. He has become beyond that because he experiences divinity as being divine. Nirakulaha. He has no, akulta means no restlessness, no doubt, no agitation. See, if you don't know something, then you are agitated. You want to know it. But this man does not need to do both. Why? Because he is the self. Either of these does not matter to the divine person. So this is also a very beautiful idea. In Chandogya Upanishad, the story comes that once Indra, who is the god of kings, king of gods, and Virochana, who is his brother, but he is the king of demons, they both approached their father, Prajapati, and asked him, what is our true nature, what is the truth? And the Prajapati says, 32 years you must do meditation and austerities, then I will tell you. So 32 years they both do all the austerities, and then father calls and tells both, that which you see as a reflection in the pupil of your eyes, that is you, he says. So these people go, look into the sheet of water, decorate themselves nicely, and look into the sheet of water, and whom do they see? They see themselves, their body, and the jewelry and the clothes. They think, oh, so we are the body, that is our truth. But the fool demon thinks, yes, I am the body, I must make good use of the body, enjoy my life using the body, decorate it, feed it, pamper it. He goes and declares it to all the demons, we should live like this. Our body is everything. My father said, body is everything, we must enjoy the body. So they are always lost in pleasures of the world and making merry, the demonic life. But this God starts thinking, if I am the body, body dies, body changes, body grows old, it becomes sick. But by definition, consciousness or Brahman, which is what I am truly, does not die, does not change, does not become old, young, never is born, never dies. Then this can't be the right understanding of what my father tried to tell. So he goes back to father and says, Father, I have a doubt. I don't think I am the body. Because body dies, but you said that my true nature is deathless, I am immortal. Then how is it possible? He says, good, do another 32 years of tapas and come back. So another 32 years he meditates and comes back to father, and the father creator calls him and says, that which moves in your dream is you. So he goes, sleeps and dreams. In dreams he sees himself who is moving around doing things, is happy and sad and this and that. Then he feels, oh, that which moves in the dream means what the person I saw in the dream is real me. But then he realizes that dreams end. Though in the dream he is not born, he is not growing, he is not dying, he is the same. Yet, sometimes he experiences happiness in dream, sometimes there are nightmares, he experiences sadness. But by nature, the consciousness is not supposed to experience duality of emotions. So he again goes back to Prajapati and says, I'm not convinced that the one who moves in the dream is me. Because it experienced happiness at one time and sadness in another time. Yes, it doesn't grow old, it remains young, but then something is wrong. He says, good, meditate for another 32 years and come back to me, I will tell you. So another 32 years he meditates, and then father calls him and says, that which enjoys in the deep sleep is you. Then he goes, sleeps and gets very deep sleep. And he comes out refreshed. He said, yes, there truly is some kind of joy in deep sleep. But then he realizes that he was not aware that he was sleeping. But by nature, consciousness is always aware. It's always knowledgeable. Then how did his knowledge disappear while he was in deep sleep? There was joy, of course, but there was no knowledge of that joy. So he goes back to his father and says, I still don't understand who I am. Because the one who was in deep sleep enjoying, I was not aware that time. Then he says, very good, now only meditate for 5 years and come back. Because you have meditated and analyzed enough. In 5 years when he comes back, then he explains to him, you are neither the body, nor the mind that moves in the dream, nor the deep sleep ignorance. You are the consciousness which pervades all the three states. You experience your body because of that consciousness. You experience the dream because of consciousness. And also in your deep sleep state, while you are ignorant of your status, there is something which is aware. That is your consciousness. And he explains the definition of Brahman. Anyways, from Chandogya Upanishad for your So which is me is the question. Is the body me? Says no. Is the mind me? No. Is that state of deep sleep and rest me? No. It is that fourth which permeates all the three states is Chandogya Upanishad. Just I wanted to tell that it requires some vichara contemplation to realize that. The next shloka is on 244 which says, Shuddha madvaya mahatmanam bhavayanti kubuddhayaha natu jananti sammohat yavad jivanam anivrataha, which means though the self is shuddha, means pure, advaya mahatmanam, it is not two, only one. He tries to attain the self like this by defining it as the pure, undual existence is self. Who? The lowly minded fellow. Then you will say, right now you are telling everything is undual and oneness is the self. He says, even to think of it as anything other than you is wrong is the whole idea. To define it, the moment you define it, you have destroyed it. It's like that electrons. You try to call it a particle and find the position, it disappears. It becomes a wave. So you can't pinpoint it. Like that, if you try to define the Atman as that which is non-dual, which is pure, and try to attain it that way, that also is a wrong method, you will not attain it. So what is the other way? Nadu jananti sammohat yavat jivanam nivrta. Because he has not understood it correctly. He has theoretically understood it is supposed to be pure, it is supposed to be undual, but has he realized it? No. So this fool will never get rid of attachments. Why? Because his only definitions he has read. Theoretical knowledge he has, but practical understanding is not there in such a person. So reading too much of books is also no good. Why? Because it will give you definitions after definitions. Like the first time Brahma Prajapati gave definition, that which is reflected in the pupil of your eye, that is you. Now he is trying to attain it through that definition. He didn't attain it. Then he defined that which moves in the dream is you. He tries to attain it through that definition. He didn't attain it. That which rests and enjoys in the deep sleep. Tried to attain it. He didn't attain it. But he left all the three ideas and then he says, try to understand that which permeates all the three. You can't experience it directly through your senses. But it's an understanding that you have once you have experienced it. How do you know? How do you feel like a mother, you tell me? Only when you become a mother. You understand what motherhood is. Can you borrow the idea of motherhood from some other mother? Teach me how to be a good mother. No, first you have a baby, then you will understand it yourself, they will tell. No, without having a baby, can I be a nice mother? Can I feel like a mother? No, you can't. Likewise, till you realize the self, you don't know it. By definitions, by reading, by running behind it, none of this is possible to help you attain. The penultimate shloka which says, in 248, which says, Mumukshor buddhir alambam antarena na vidyate niralambaiva nishkama buddhir muktasya sarvada. The one who is desirous of attaining the self, he uses his buddhi, intelligence, to understand the self. He needs some dependency. I must chant these many mantras, I must chant these mahavakyas, I must undertake some ritual. You tell him none of this is required, he feels very uncomfortable. He feels I have to do something, isn't it, to attain the self? If I don't do anything, how will I attain the self? Because in the world, nothing is attained without doing things. You want to earn money, work hard. You want to earn good name, serve a lot of people, get good name. Anything in the world requires efforts. You use your intelligence and efforts. Here, for attaining the self, you use your intelligence and efforts. That is precisely how you will not attain it, he says. Just be. Drop all these ideas of doing and achieving and just be. That is the idea. And he says, Niralambaiva nishkama, the one who is desireless. He says, I don't want, see, if you say, I want liberation, that idea of I want liberation will come in the way of liberation. Just be, and you will get it, he says. Niralamba, no dependencies. I need to chant this, I need to do these many Nam Jupas. None of this is the reason why you should attain self. Not doing anything, just being yourself, waiting for it to happen is the right way. Like the flower waits for the sun to rise and it blossoms on its own. It doesn't put efforts to open. So you forcibly open the petals of a flower, it will never look that beautiful. But when sun rises, on its own, slowly, gradually it opens, without any efforts. So how to realize the self? Effortlessly, without using your intelligence. If you use too much of intelligence, it's no good. Because then you will start questioning, if God is like this, then why there is so much misery in the world? If God is compassionate, then why these people are suffering? If God is only pure consciousness, then why so many people are impure in the world? You will ask 100 wrong questions and confuse yourself. So don't use too much of brains. It doesn't work with God. That's why God belongs to the simple-hearted people, the innocent, the pure. God does not go to these two extremely intelligent people. That's why too educated you are, more difficult you to attain God. Because you'll use your intelligence, you'll try to find logic to everything, you'll try to empirically measure, and none of this works with God. You have to have simple, pure-hearted, innocent surrender. That is how you find God. And the last shloka of this chapter, not this book, last name, some more are left. Oh my goodness, I think I've taken up a wrong task. My worry was that tomorrow we have to have some quiz, and day after onwards we are having a lot of other events starting, I don't have much time. Anyway, let us finish it when we have decided to. 45th shloka is on 250 page. It says, Vishaya dvipino vikshya chakita sharanarthinaha vishanti jhatati krodam niradhaikagrya siddhaye. It says Vishaya dvipina means tigers. Tigers of what? Dvipina means tiger. Which tiger? Tiger of senses. When the senses come after you, let us eat this, let's enjoy that, let's see this, let us taste that, smell that. What happens? The fool gets scared. Chakita, he's surprised, he's astounded. Where he do? He runs, says, let me meditate now, let me run away from my senses and go into meditation, go into a temple, go into a forest to save myself from the onslaught of the senses. His idea is always run away and escape. Whereas the wise one, what he does, Vishanti jhatati krodam niradhe. So this fool continues to do that. He runs into forest or a quiet place or runs away from people and the situations quickly and goes and falls into the lap of meditation, he says. The only way the fools escape the temptations of the world is to run away from the world and try to meditate and be away from everything. Whereas the wise one, what he does, in the next shloka he says, Nirvasanam harim drishtva tushnim vishaya dantinaha palayante na shaktaste sevante krita chatavaha. This is my favorite shloka. Memorize it. It says, what happens in the case of those who are jnanis? They are themselves lions. Forget about these senses troubling them. Nobody can trouble them. They are like lions. Or what kind of lion? Desirelessness is their strength. Nirvasanam. They have no desires. That's why they are like lions. Only desirous people are meek like pussycats because they need something from somebody, so they have to bend and oblige them. The one who has no desire can roam around like a lion, fearless. Nobody can control him. So these people who have no desire for the senses and pleasures of it, they are like lions. What do? When they are around, tushnim vishaya dantinha, all the sense objects are like the elephants in the forest. The moment lion walks in, what happens? All these elephants run away. They are scared. So they run away from the lion's presence. And then palayante, they run away. Either they shut up. Tushnim means the elephants stop making any noise because lion is around. So senses don't trouble you anymore. Or if they trouble you, you give one roar and what happens? They run away. Palayante. They run away. And if they can't run away, sevante krita chatavaha. If they can't run away, they start serving you. Means you don't have to run away from your senses and sense pleasures. Many people cut off their organs to become celibates or torture themselves in so many ways to realize God. How many people have? People whip themselves, wear crown of thorns, sleep on a bed of nails. What all they do to control their body, mind and temptations. They are like the previous shloka fools. The moment a tiger comes, you run away like that. Whereas these people are lions themselves. And the sense objects are like elephants. If the lion enters the jungle, elephants behave themselves. They don't trouble the lion. They run away actually. So that is how when you are desireless, you are like a lion. And no senses, no temptations, nothing of the world can ever affect you. Next shloka is on 258. Very simple. It says, Na mukti karikam dhatte na nishanko yukta manasaha pashyan shrinvan sprishan jignan ashnan aste yathasukam. For the one who desires for the moksha, the one who is not desirous, who has attained that wisdom, for such a person, he does not need to chase anything. Who has no doubt and his mind is absolutely established in the truth, such a person does not need anything. Does not need to chase after liberation also. Why? Because he is already liberated as he is, because he has no desires. Our idea of liberation is desirelessness. One word answer, what is liberation? Desirelessness. You don't need a second word to substantiate your definition of liberation. If you are desireless, you are liberated. Nobody can bind you. Nobody can tell you what to do, what not to. So those whose minds are steady and free, no doubts come to them whether I am God, I am not God, whether this is God or not God. None of them. They need no mala, no dependencies to feel like divine. You don't have to shave your head or grow your beard or wear rosaries and change your attire. None of this nonsense is required. You can be as you are because your mind is absolutely desire-free, doubt-free and absolutely established. So whatever they do, Pashyan Shrinvans, whatever they see, hear, touch, smell or taste, in everything they find joy. Because they cannot see differences between the two. Everything is same. That's why I said when the Buddhist monks had come, they were begging for their food. And whatever is given, they only carry one bowl. They don't have compartments in the bowl. That this is for spicy, that is for sweet, this is for sour, that is for bitter, and this is for rice and that's for carb. No, they just mix everything and make it into a big ball and eat it from there. All the tastes are mixed up. Because they don't want to see the difference in things. They don't want to give too much of attention to all the differences. So whatever they do, they are happy in that. Why? Because their minds are established in God. They don't need this external paraphernalia. I don't need to have a rosary and a stick and then one ochre robe and my head should be shaven, vibhuti should be put. Without doing all these things also, they are well established. Next sloka is 260 page. It says, Vastu Shravana Matrena Shuddha Buddhir Nirakulaha Naivachara Manacharam Audasyam Va Prapashyati. It says, by just listening to the truth once, Vastu means the truth, Shravana Matrena, by just listening to it once, Shuddha Buddhi Nirakula, the pure-minded ones understand it like this. It's the impure ones who struggle to understand the truth. Truth even spoken once to the right people is understood by them. Whereas for the fools who repeat any number of times, they won't understand. Why? Because their minds are pure. They are not selfish. They are not desirous. They are peaceful. Naiva acharam anacharam audasyam va prapashyati. They are indifferent to this is right conduct, that is wrong conduct. They don't believe in all these things. Because in everything they see divinity only. They don't differentiate between people. He is a sinner, he is a saint. Otherwise, you tell me these great ones, how can they accept sinners also? When some bad person had come to Prashanti Nilayam and everybody said, oh, this politician is known for all the wrong that he has done and things like that. Why is Bhagavan giving interview to him? Everybody questioned. Bhagavan should reject them. Then Bhagavan's answer was, if I also reject them, then who is going to accept them? Who is going to change them? Yes, they are not nice people, they are sinners. But even if I turn them away, what is the hope for them then? How can I turn them away, he said. I have to help them also. Just I help the wise people, good people, meritorious people. So also I have to help the sinful. And that was the idea. Bhagavan said, I have to accept them also. So they don't see these are right, those are wrong. Yes, in the eyes of law, in the societal way, people may be right or wrong. For the wise, the real jnani, all are his. Such a person can accept everybody. That is why when we feel accepted and not judged in front of God, we love God. But when we are not accepted and we feel judged, we run away from those relationships. Only God does not judge us. To create an image of a God who judges us and punishes us is wrong. God accepts us, corrects us, of course, like a parent. Tells us what is right, what is wrong, and helps us become better. But does not reject us. That is the beauty of God. He does not reject anybody. And 18.49, which says, Yada yat kartu mayati tada tat kurute rujuhu shubham va api ashubham va api tasya cheshta hi balavat. See, the wise ones, rujuhu, what they do, whatever comes their way, yada yat kartu mayati tada kurute, they do that. You need to teach today, fine, I'll go and teach. Today you don't need to do anything, I won't do anything. Tomorrow you need to cut the grass, fine, I'll cut the grass. Day after you need to worship in the temple, they are okay with that. They don't see any work as higher, lower, or this is better, that is not better, this is auspicious, that is inauspicious. Swami Vivekananda, when he returned from the West, he said, people in the West are arguing on how to crack the egg from which end. That is an unending argument. Whereas in India, people are arguing how to drink water from right hand or left hand. In this only they have lost their minds. They have no time for higher ideas. Which side of the egg to crack it open? That becomes debate on dining tables. And here in India, why did you lift the thing from your left hand? Always use right hand. You have this is sin, that is merit. This is all that the people are plagued with. They are not able to rise above these silly, petty things and think of higher things like they are divine. So that was his pain and he said it all. So this Shubha, Ashubha, this is pure, that is impure, this is right, that is wrong. They don't understand all these things. Who? The real wise ones. They see everything as equal like the children. Children do not differentiate. I eaten with right hand or left hand. Many times children come to my interview room, I give chocolates. They stretch their left hand. Mother will say, right hand, right hand, right hand. That fellow is looking at, how does it matter? Anyway, it's coming to me. No, right hand. So, the child does not know right hand is the right way or left hand is the wrong way. He is a child, he is just taking the chocolate, let him be. But then we have rules. Unless we follow the rules, we are be labeled, you are bad or you are good. But for children doesn't exist. Like that for the real wise one doesn't exist. They can drink from anywhere. So Swami Vivekananda was very hungry. Nobody fed him. They all came and listened to his lecture. Nobody asked him, have you eaten anything, Swamiji, at all? So the end of the day was very hungry, and the person who was watchman of that place, he was from a lower caste, naturally, because he's a laborer and lower caste. Vivekananda is a Brahmin, now a sannyasi. Everybody left. Then this fellow was about to eat his dinner. He looked at this young monk sitting in a corner. He told, Swamiji, have you eaten anything at all? He said, no. Are you hungry? He said, of course. Can I eat something from your plate? He says, no, you can't eat from my plate. I am a sinner. I am a lower caste person. You don't deserve to eat from my plate. He says, but I am hungry. I need to eat. He says, I can give you. I have no problem. But if anybody sees that I have fed you from my plate, they won't say anything to you, but they'll beat me into a pulp. That is how the society is. So even if I feed you because you are hungry, they won't spare me. That's why I am scared of feeding you. He said, don't worry, no sin will come to you. I won't tell anybody that you have fed me. But please feed me because I'm so hungry. I've been speaking for the last 3 days and nobody has asked me whether I've eaten or drank water. So he takes the food and eats it. For Vivekananda, he has not become a sinner by eating from somebody's plate who is not from upper caste. That is how these Gyanis don't see the difference. Finally, the last shloka of this book, which says, a beautiful shloka. It says, Swatantriyat sukhamapnoti, Swatantriyat labhate param, Swatantriyat nivritim gachet, Swatantriyat paramam padam. Swatantra means freedom. Moksha, liberation, freedom. With freedom only comes true happiness, it says. With freedom only you attain the highest. Freedom alone leads you to the ultimate dispassion, and freedom alone is the highest state of existence. That is the essence of Ashtavakra Gita. Why are we wanting to be doing what we are doing? Because we want to be free. That is our nature. Nobody wants to be born. Try to control a child, you will have a miserable time. Because a child wants to be free, wants to run around. Try to control an animal, bird. They don't want to be caged and tied. They want to be free. Yesterday we saw what happened in the US in the 1500s, 1600s, whatever, slavery. People were pushed inside ships and transported to US and sold as slaves. How much misery. Till today they carry the misery and trauma of those days, generations later. Because we are not bound. We always want to be free. Anybody who binds us by any ways, we feel uncomfortable. If a relationship becomes a bondage because of expectations, we want to run away from that relationship. Anything that makes us feel bound destroys our peace, destroys our true state of existence. That's why freedom is such a cherished value across traditions, customs and cultures. Nobody ever wants to be a slave or a servant. And what is true freedom? Desirelessness is true freedom. Because when you have no desire, who can bind you? You don't have any desire, you are free. Why are we not free? Because we have desire, so then we have to behave accordingly. We please people, we oblige them, we deal with them, we put up with them, we tolerate them. Whatever we need to do because we have desires to fulfill. But if you have no desire, then there is no need to be bound. So all the bondage is desire, and no desire is freedom. And the last shloka says that freedom is the ultimate cherished value of the wise. He would sacrifice anything, but he won't sacrifice his freedom. That's why when people try to bind me also or God also in any which ways, I say, you are mine, that's true. I am yours, that's true, but I am also everybody else's. I am not exclusively yours, I cannot be. Radha ka bhi sham wo to Meera ka bhi sham. सांवरे की बंसी को बजने से काम, Radha ka bhi Shyam, wo to Meera ka bhi. The Krishna belongs to Radha also, Meera also. Radha cannot say you only belong to me. Meera cannot say you only belong to me. Your flute only should pay for my sake. No, everybody, he belongs to all. Like that. The moment you try to bind God into ideas of your own, he will run away. You will never find him again. Similarly, anything that in the world makes us feel bound, we run away from those. Sarvam parvavasham dukkham, sarvam atmavasham sukham, it is said. Anything that we do under force, under compulsion, it always leads to misery. Anything that we do with our own will, we feel happy. So that is the idea of freedom, which is the ultimate gift of realization. You are free, you are never bound. Otherwise, you tell me, when Jesus Christ was asked, are you God? He said yes. But he knew he was going to be crucified if he said that. He could have easily said anything else. No, I'm sorry, I was mistaken, but now I have realized, please leave me. He didn't say anything. He said, yes. Are you the king of the Jews? Yes, he said. That's it. Next is crucifixion. He didn't lie, because his freedom to tell the truth is more important for him than even living on a life of lie. That freedom is the most important value. That's why we should never capture anybody, anything. I always feel that children should be free, people should be free, and everybody should live a free life. But freedom is not just about not being under another colonial rule or not under the slavery system. Freedom is not being bound by your own emotions, not becoming slaves to your own senses, not being bound by your own limitations of ideas and desires. That is true freedom, which these monks experience. So Ashtavakra is teaching us that. Now we will not be continuing Ashtavakra. Tomorrow there will be a quiz. And the next book of Ashtavakra will be released. But we won't be studying it right now. We will study it over the coming year. It is more like a revision of all that we have studied so far. So every week we would be reading a few shlokas. And through the year we will read, so that it's a good revision for everybody. All right. So bye-bye Ashtavakra for now.
We will be presenting a vachana. It says, when the body, mind and life breath are completely offered to the divine, one attains the serene, detached oneness with the Supreme Self. This vachana is written by Allama Prabhu, set to Rag Des. Tanu nimma pujisuva kripege sandudu mana nimma niniva dhyan ke sandudu tanu nimma pujisuva kripege sandudu tanu nimma pujisuva kripege sandudu mana nimma niniva dhyana ke sandudu mana nimma niniva dhyana ke sandudu tanu nimma pujisuva
ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ಕೃಪೆಗೆ ಸಂದುದು ಮನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನೆನೆವ ಧ್ಯಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ತನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ಕೃಪೆಗೆ ಸಂದುದು ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರತಿ ಸುಖಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರತಿ ಸುಖಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಇಂತು ತನು ಮನ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಂದಿಪ್ಪ ಇಂತು ತನು ಮನ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಂದಿಪ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರತಿ ಸುಖಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರತಿ ಸುಖಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಇಂತು ತನು ಮನ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಂದಿಪ್ಪ ಇಂತು ತನು ಮನ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಂದಿಪ್ಪ ನಿಸಂಗಿಯಾದ ನಿಶ್ಚಟ ಲಿಂಗೈಕ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ನಿಸಂಗಿಯಾದ ನಿಶ್ಚಟ ಲಿಂಗೈಕ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ಗುಹೇಶ್ವರ ನಿಸಂಗಿಯಾದ ನಿಶ್ಚಟ ಲಿಂಗೈಕ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ಗುಹೇಶ್ವರ ತನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ಕೃಪೆಗೆ ಸಂದುದು ತನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ಕೃಪೆಗೆ ಸಂದುದು ಮನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನೆನೆವ ಧ್ಯಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಮನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನೆನೆವ ಧ್ಯಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರತಿ ಸುಖಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರತಿ ಸುಖಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಇಂತು ತನು ಮನ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಂದಿಪ್ಪ ಇಂತು ತನು ಮನ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಂದಿಪ್ಪ ನಿಸಂಗಿಯಾದ ನಿಶ್ಚಟ ಲಿಂಗೈಕ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ನಿಸಂಗಿಯಾದ ನಿಶ್ಚಟ ಲಿಂಗೈಕ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ಗುಹೇಶ್ವರ ನಿಸಂಗಿಯಾದ ನಿಶ್ಚಟ ಲಿಂಗೈಕ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ಗುಹೇಶ್ವರ ಸಂದುದು ತನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ಕೃಪೆಗೆ ಸಂದುದು ಮನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನೆನೆವಾ ಧ್ಯಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ಮನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನೆನೆವಾ ಧ್ಯಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂದುದು ತನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ಕೃಪೆಗೆ ಸಂದುದು ತನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ತನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ತನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೂಜಿಸುವ ಕೃಪೆಗೆ ಸಂದುದು सर्वसुगुण सिंहवे सकल सुजन बंधवे सर्वसुगुण सिंहवे सकल सुजन बंधवे गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमंगलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमंगलम् दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय सर्वलोक हितरताय सर्वमंगलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमंगलम् वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय ब्रह्मज्ञानबोधकाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् सत्य साईनः प्रियाय सत्य प्रेम विग्रहाय सत्य साईनः प्रियाय सत्य प्रेम विग्रहाय नित्य शुद्ध निर्मलाय नित्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपति स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपति आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी साई महादेव सद्गुरु साई महादेवा मंगलहारति अंदुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। जय बोलो सद्गुरु श्री मधुसूदन साई जी की जय।